threats, they're next. But here's the truth. You still have a chance to fight back. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Call us now at 630-415-5296. We don't do fluff. We get results. Call us now, 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
27 shot in Shirakistan this weekend, a 5-year-old Saturday morning in the stomach. Any protests? Any lawyers? No protests, no lawyers, no communists. Do you know why, Squirrel? See, in magic, you need a pretty assistant. But in stealing money, you need a ghetto assistant. You need chaos, criminals, illegal aliens, as they steal our money. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A warm and humid day with a high near 90. 6 are wounded in a mass shooting on Chicago's west side. Shots were fired early Sunday in the 900 block of North Central Park Avenue. Today, 2 of the victims are listed in critical condition. 4 teens are dead after a vehicle fleeing from Chicago and Illinois State Police when flying off a bridge and crashed into a train boxcar in the 6900 block of South Cicero Avenue. That incident is under investigation. 3 are dead after a shooting near Seattle's Space Needle on Sunday. 4 others injured.
Officers responded and addressed one of the shooters. That person gave up and was taken into custody. There was another person that we believe that was also involved that fled the scene, and officers began an active search for that person.
Tyrone Davis with Seattle Police. Indiana health officials say cyclosporiasis cases continue to increase across the state. Now 750 have been reported. Cubs in St. Louis, Sox and Yankees. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. You can join today. 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report. Stocks kicking off the new trading week mixed. The Dow rose but pared from bigger earlier gains after the Trump administration paused plans to escalate its war in Iran. Crude oil prices retreated, easing inflation concerns. Semiconductor companies, memory chip makers, and many artificial intelligence names selling off today and dragging the tech-heavy Nasdaq lower following Chinese memory chip maker CMXT's massive trading debut in Shanghai. Apple stock rose over 1% and notching a fresh record close. The tech giant reclaimed the title of the world's most valuable public company from NVIDIA. The Dow winners, Salesforce, Microsoft, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, and NVIDIA. The Dow up 263 points. The Nasdaq lower by 44. S&P 500 up a point. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Gas prices in Chicago are riding like a roller coaster. They go up, they come down. Well, they come down a little bit, but then they go back up again. AM 560 wants to help ease your pain at the pump. Listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 for the lowest gas prices around Chicagoland. And if you see a low gas price, let us know. Just text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location, and we'll share it right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now, I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirogo.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, 45 minutes. Entrance ramp from Keeler closed right now. The outbound Eisenhower 1 hour out to 390. Crash reported at the Tri-State. Flooding inbound Stevenson from Harlem to Kedzie. Outbound Stevenson, that's heavy into Pulaski with an accident in the left lane. Hour to the Tri-State, hour and 20 out to 355. Inbound Rhine, a crash at the Stevenson, 20 going in. And the outbound side of the Dan Ryan, a 40-minute trip. Also a crash northbound I-57. Bishop Fort just closed outbound from 159th to the Tri-State. All lanes temporarily closed, and we have trees down and some power lines down throughout. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions. To surround your target audience, go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and humid conditions with a low of 69. On Tuesday, expect breezy winds and lower humidity levels along with hazy sunshine and a high of 82. Tuesday night will feature a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will bring abundant sunshine and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Among the decent, governed by the decent. It's the beauty of not being around Democrats, but sometimes being surrounded by these low-living thieves who normalize political corruption and failure. Sometimes, squirrels, sometimes it inspires you. Sometimes the evidence is so overwhelming, it cannot be denied.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know. It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot of lines on your property tax bill.
All of them raise your taxes. You have enough clout, hair fat ass, to not pay property taxes. You got the right guy. The guy who you've been bribing, who you had been bribing since you were just a little spoiled biatch. Just a little spoiled brat. You knew who to bribe, and they all did. You see, Squirrel, to steal money, you don't need what a magician needs. A magician needs something beautiful. Something to distract you because of its beauty. To steal money, Squirrel, you need something ugly. You need something ugly like a ghetto. You need a ghetto where 27 people get shot. Not one protester, not one slip and fall shyster lawyer. By the way, Crump, you look ridiculous in a pinstripe suit. You look ridiculous anyway. But that pinstripe suit, I mean, are you just, is it all just such an obvious scam? You figure you're dressed like you're in a cartoon? As he goes to the degenerate homeless scallywag who stabbed a cop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, wherever the frack it is, to parade out the other scumbags and the socialists and the communists. See, that's ugly, but it distracts you from the fact. 1.3 trillion with a T dollars in grants. That's what this government has issued. And over 700 billion. They have no fracking idea where it is. Now, where does it really go? It goes in the ghetto. In the ghetto snipe areas, where no matter what they do, they've got all the plans. They always did. More money, more money, more money. And everything sucks in the ghetto, like Chirac.
I believe in growth. I think there are 5 pillars to it.
He's got 5. Don't use your hand where you cut your finger off, stupid. Nobody will be able to follow who went to CPS. And his main thing is education. This thief, the Emanuels, his brother, Grim Reaper, doctor of your ass, and his other brother, the shyster, who works in Hollywood, that employs a lot of the scumbags, like Daley's nephew, who killed the kid. That's where he went and worked. California, movie business. Ooh, movie. Sure, movie, and then Netflix and Prime. And you get to put lipstick and normalize what that city has devolved into in the same way New York, New Jersey. In fact, wherever the grant money is stolen. And when I say stolen, I mean stolen. Prove me wrong. Where's the money?
I'm Christine Frizzau in Washington, where government watchdogs are raising questions about hundreds of billions of federal dollars sent to states with little information about where it went next. Tonight, the Project on Government Oversight is out with a new report outlining the holes and raising concerns about the lack of accountability and transparency. It's money that's meant for local communities around the United States. Federal grants used to support schools, healthcare for children, veterans, and the elderly.
All the same bulldog that the American communist, good-for-nothing, useless ghetto snipe are constantly advocating for. Whether it's Brandon Johnson, also ridiculous in his $6,500 Brioni suit, or it's the scallywag fraud that would have the audacity to take over a press conference by a cop. And you know what the cop did? He sat there like a little smarmy, useless nothing. What, are you just waiting for the pension like all the other Democrat cops?
All power to all people, zero power to Zionists, zero power to capitalists, zero power to colonialism.
The thinnest of trust in this.
Somebody run that stupid son of a dog. He's better than what you got. He's better than Pritzker. And you know what? He paid just about as much property taxes as the billionaire who had enough clout to steal from all the Chicagoans who can't wait to elect his fat ass.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know. It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot of lines on your property tax bill.
Hey, can you get your wife, who's got that upper body strength you'll never have? By the way, don't ever go to a parade in a T-shirt again. You're an embarrassment to everybody with a 3-piece set. Send your wife over. I want her to lift the turlets out of my Elmwood Park house. I want to stop paying taxes on it because it's ridiculous, you slob. And they love it. The Illinois scoundrels love it. Like the same ones who advocate. You can't pass the SAVE Act. No morons have an ID. Well, all the illegal aliens have IDs, and you could thank Silky G.
More than 155,000 standardized IDs and driver's licenses have been issued for non-U.S. citizens in the last 5 months. It's part of a new state law.
There you go. And it's the same in New Jersey, in New York, in California. They give it away. You know what gets dangerous? When they give away CDLs to illegal alien scallywags who were riding a burro last Thursday, and today they're killing Americans. Where do those licenses come from? Illinois, Silky G. California, some unnamed Democrat suck toy. New York, New Jersey, same thing. But that's an ugly, ugly reality. And it distracts even me, even you, because everybody knows what happens with these illegal aliens, the truckers. They're either killing people or stealing money.
Fresno truck driver is now facing charges of stealing nearly $3 million in products from a Pennsylvania warehouse. Pennsylvania State Police say Deepak Kumar is an illegal immigrant with an invalid work visa. They say he was driving a truck with a fake registration, a fake New York license, and a California license with a fake name. He's charged with...
The California license was legit, just had the fake name. Kumar, Umar, Yabba Dabba Doo. They'll give anybody a fracking license. And they kill our kids, our women. And then they steal the items that they're supposed to be delivering. And nobody wants to talk about it. You know why, Squirrel? It's ugly. And all while that's going on, the connected Democrat scoundrel, like Pritzker before he was elected, always in that Democrat mafia, like at the correspondence dinner, which is why I don't give a rip about it. A bunch of connected frauds. Somebody's kid, somebody's nephew, somebody's foot soldier that promised to sell lipstick on the pig, that these are American Democrats versus what they are. Thieves, common thieves. And they found a way to steal public money. And it's much harder to catch.
Clean drinking water and so many other needs appears to be untraceable. USAspending.gov, set up 2 decades ago as a way to follow the money, lays out where it's supposed to go and how much, but leaves major holes in the equation of where it actually went and what it was used for.
We don't know how the state broke these different funds down, whether or not a community got missed, whether some communities got a lot more than maybe they should. It's very hard to figure that out.
Shaun Moulton with the Project on Government Oversight is the author of a new report in which he found the overwhelming majority of grant funding cannot be tracked to the local level in what he calls a major spending transparency failure.
Is it? Or is it just another perfect crime? Is it tied to a dock in Ghetto Harbor by the name of Butt Naked? How the frack would you know? $720 billion, a lot of money. A lot of money to spread around to a lot of scumbags. And then you release the hounds, your slip and fall scumbag lawyers, who we pretend are prosecutors. Well, it turns out they're just doing their duty. After all, it's another reason to bail out so much of the public services. Now, if I remember correctly, Squirrel, J.B. Pritzker and his big fat ass with his little tiny upper body, he decided to tax everybody in the name of the CTA. Did I not hear it right? Big thing, politicians. He said, we're bailing out the CTA. Bailing out the CTA. Do you know why, Squirrel? Because the ghetto snipe and the scum and the Chicago Public School honor roll students, they don't like to pay the fare.
WGN Investigates this afternoon. This week marks 3 months since sheriff's police started patrolling CTA trains. They'll put together a long-term plan based on their findings. One of the big issues, 80 to 90% of riders on some lines failed to pay for rides.
Let that sink in. 8 to 9 out of 10 of the CPS honor roll students and other degenerate, useless scumbags, they skipped the fare. And now some guy driving his truck in DeKalb is going to pay an extra tax, an extra toll, so that the ghetto snipe can be covered up. That's an ugly, ugly distraction, isn't it, Squirrel? And that's why they're there. Because for some reason, you can't get rid of these Democrat sloths, whether they're the trust fund financiers, like JB, can my wife do my lifting for me, Pritzker? Or the nine-finger Yakuza, who's going to tell you, he may run for president, which would be great. He's be even more detrimental, even more dangerous and more expensive than an American commie. And the reason is Rahm Emanuel, Chicago Democrats, and the legacy Democrats for the last 30 years have perfected the grift.
I will soon, after Labor Day, make a trip to Louisiana. They're the only states whose math and reading scores are now pre-COVID numbers.
They haven't perfected the steal. What do they make in Louisiana compared to Shirakistan? What is the cost for the people? $33,000 a pupil. So if he's going to Louisiana, it isn't to get the information. It's to spread the crime. I mean, after all, $2.5 trillion in just welfare and Medicaid reimbursements, $1.1 trillion in public school education, and $1.3 trillion in grant money. Nobody can find the Democrat mafia and the 10% of the counties of this country have stolen $4.9 trillion. What are you going to do about it?
Supported the most vulnerable, homeless Americans in Los Angeles. Instead, allegedly supported the purchase of a $125,000 Range Rover, private jet travel, and a vacation home in Greece that costs almost $500,000.
We're going to Sizzler! And what are you going to do about it? More money, more money, more money. Because losing the money, stealing the money, misappropriating the money, that's what they're supposed to do. They were just following orders. Like the best friend of the governor of the once great state, industrial, business, quality of life, now a ghetto like Detroit. Michigana, what are you going to do about it? One dingbat whore. How many millions did she steal in grant money?
This Farmington Hills businesswoman with high-level state connections is now facing serious criminal charges. Prosecutors accuse Faye Baydoun of misusing millions in state grant money on luxury purchases and personal travel. Fox 2.
She going to Sizzler? And it doesn't matter. Gretchen Whitmer with the Botox, the Merlot, the antidepressants, and her thong on backwards. That's her best friend. And she's still giving endorsements. Because among Democrats, till you realize, that's their goal. Steal the money. Where does it ever not work when Democrats are in charge of the prosecutors? 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer. Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today. Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for Townhall.com. Until now, hard-left influencer Hassan Piker was perhaps best known for appearing to use an electric shock collar on his dog during a live stream. Now he's making news again for addressing the College Democrats of America convention dressed as Mao Zedong. Piker's called Mao, quote, one of the great leaders of this world, unquote. Yet Mao's policies are widely estimated to have caused the deaths of between 40 and 70 million people. Had Piker shown up dressed as Hitler, the outrage would have been immediate and rightly so. Mao deserves no better. Piker's appearance and his denunciation of mainstream Democrats for compromising with so-called fascists reflects the extremist rhetoric gaining ground on the left. Unless Democrats of good faith confront that radical fringe, their party risks losing itself. Let's hope it's not already too late. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-741-5015. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes, start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-741-5015 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-741-5015. Once again, that's 800-741-5015.
AM 560, The Answer.
There it is, Squirrel. Way ahead of his time, this handsome son of a gun, huh?
On a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born.
You want me to? You need another suit, Crump? Where are you with your bald ass? Hey, dummy!
And his mama cried.
How about this? Was Crump here for this?
A 5-year-old child is in critical condition following a shooting on West 14th Street. This happened at about 12:35 in the morning near.
5 years old, 12:35 in the morning. Was he getting the paper? Is that a paper route? Hey, Ben! Hey, lowlife! Where are you? What about this?
This week marks 3 months since sheriff's police started patrolling CT8 trains. They'll put together a long-term plan based on their findings. One of the big issues, 80 to 90% of riders on some lines fail to pay for rides.
80 to 90! You low-life rat pigs! How about you shut the fracking train off, whatever line? What line is it? Shut the line off! You'll just be saving the one who pays the fare, the one who sits there and gets beat up, and the prosecutor lets out over and over again.
Fox 32 in Chicago, as a local report says, a man accused of nearly beating another passenger to death aboard a train will not spend any time in prison. The 44-year-old suspect pleaded guilty to aggravated battery. He was sentenced to 2 years, but received credit for over a year spent on electronic monitoring.
Perfect! Now, quick, let's get some money from a guy driving a truck in DeKalb. Hurry up, get the money, you fracking moron. Did you ever take a look at the internet, Squirrel? Oh, it's fascinating. Here are some third graders. How old are you when you're in third grade? You 10? What grade are you 10 in, Squirrel? Fourth or third? They're not more than 10. I tweeted it out to see. Here's what it's like living in the ghetto. And the 10-year-old pulls out a Glock from the front of his pants, takes up his entire body. The Glock, from hammer to clip, is the width of this kid's whole body. And you know what time it is? In the middle of the fragging night in Shirakistan.
You talking about shiesty though? We ain't playing. We play real good. We got these right here.
What y'all look? Why y'all out here like that though?
Oh, that's one of the elders. That's one of the elders from the hood. Interviewing him out of the Mercedes. The window down, and she's filming. 3 third graders, fourth graders, they're 10 years old if they're lucky.
They fell down now. They ain't gonna come down here. They ain't gonna do so. Oh, no. Talking about.
Damn, why y'all wilding like this though?
Fuck somebody else.
How old you is behind the mask? How old you is? How old you is? Damn, that's how y'all go?
Yeah.
Damn, y'all look crazy, bro. Y'all ain't gonna rob me or nothing, y'all.
We ain't gonna rob you.
All right, huh? 2 for you, too.
Hey, let me get another $1 because I got safety on.
All right. 2 for you, too, man.
Let me get another $1 because I have the safety on. Yo, Crump! Where the frick are you, dummy? You should be suing the teacher union. How about the aldermen, the 50 thieves? Where are you? Just need a little more money, You've been stealing money since Elvis Presley cut that #1 song, which he could play right now today. And you found new ways to steal it. It just isn't the money that you can never account for, you thieving rat low-life Democrats. It's the grant money. $1.3 trillion into the most expensive areas in the country. You know what they call them, Squirrel? Ghettos!
Of the more than $958 billion, $712 billion, or 74%, could not be traced to any specific county, city, or zip code.
Try Cook. You want to try Cook? Start there. Then try the one in New York, where the ghettos are, New Jersey. You know what? Here, just do this. Start in all the areas where the Democrats are, and then start there, because that's where it gets stolen. In the decent area, we don't need your fracking money, and we don't want it.
New data shows how well states have done financially based on who they voted for in 2024. All right, Madison, which states did better? Ones that voted for Trump or the ones that voted for Harris?
I don't think this will surprise you, but the ones that voted for Trump ended up doing much better, like much, much better. So we have new IRS data from 2023. It shows where hardworking Americans are taking their hard-earned dollars. So overall, states that wound up voting for President Trump in 2024 saw a net income gain of $38.9 billion, while states that voted for former Vice President Kamala Harris lost $42.5 billion.
And that's what you get when you vote for low-life thieves. And when you ask them, I didn't do it. The Homer Simpson! Only Homer Simpson this time has got butter soft hands. Can't do a push-up or a jumping jack. And he's got a real big fat bottom half. Built like a bowling pin, aren't you, Pritzker? Don't wear T-shirts, you fat lard ass.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know. It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot of...
Wasn't me! It was the other Democrats. Terry, Shirakistan.
Hey, Shaun, all I hear on the news is about Lollapalooza. You had a kid 15 years old that was shot and killed last week. You know, what about their family? When I was a kid in 72 at Roosevelt, I had 10 classmates that were junkie. In Hagen Grammar School, I knew 2 kids that were 8th graders that were junkies already, and they were doing heroin in 7th grade. How about the public school system start testing these kids for drugs?
Terry,
save a life.
Take a look at the teachers. You want to talk about a group of people put together who has a case of the munchies. They're all dope heads, too. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. At Chicago Atlantic, success depends on experience, responsiveness, attention to detail, and an entrepreneurial mindset. That's exactly what we found with Signature. Their team understands how we operate, supports our growth, and delivers the kind of personal service that's increasingly rare in banking today. The right banking relationship should feel like a true partnership, and that's exactly why we bank with Signature.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
See, Squirrel, I really want to start the commercial the way I ran every aspect of my life. If you're in on this fracking scam and you're stealing the grant money, you're stealing the Medicaid money. I don't give a rip if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. Don't come to Shaun Fest because I'm going to give the audience hours of not just fun as we do the show and you get to see behind the scenes, Squirrel. I guarantee you a low-life, scumbag-free event. It's just the decent people. That is who's going to Lakeside Pavilion right behind the Westin in Itasca, August 28th. That's where it's going to be. I'll be smoking cigars. The tent is going to be fantastic. In fact, they sent me a text message, Squirrel. Did I tell you? We now know the name of the band. Hold on now. We're going to do a lot of things here. We're running a little remote here. So according to this, one of the bands, hold on a minute. Jukebox Heroes, just like the song. Jukebox Heroes is going to be the band. Cigars will be on site. And they say for sale. I'll be grabbing some. These are great people, by the way. I used to get people who would come in and ask for a pipe. I'd say, go to Arlington Pipe and Cigar. That's who's going to have a table out there. It's going to be you, me. We're going to have somebody else sing the national anthem. All of the people we interview that day, all of them will be there live. So you're going to see behind the scenes. I'm going to stay until I get to shake each and every one of your hands. I don't care how long it takes. And that's just some of the things that will happen on August 28th. And all you have to do to register, it's almost like the benefit of all of this nonsense they promise you as they steal our money. This really doesn't cost you anything. You just got to go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest and register. We don't want any illegal aliens. That's illegal. There will be no illegal aliens. There will be legal immigrants. Like so many of the listeners we get from the former Soviet Union, from Cuba, from the Orient. See, because they're the ones who appreciate what we celebrate every day. Americanism, liberty, and property rights. It's only for the decent in an indecent area. Well, not Itasca. It's very nice. They got a real nice golf country club there. But you know, Weston in Itasca, right behind it, Lakeside Pavilion, August 28th, 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. All you have to do is register. Food will be available. Drinks will be available. Thanks to our wonderful radio station and the people who make it happen, like Virago, leaving-l.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony D'Agrado, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta, and so many more as that list is growing. So I hope I see you there. Just go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest, SHAUN, August 28th. When we get back, 312-642-5600 if you care to participate, and we're going to cover a lot of the good stories. You don't know about it because, unfortunately, the show is broadcast in Illinois. However, the rest of the country that isn't run by Democrats, kicking ass, just like we're doing in Iran, after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Breezy, warm, and humid afternoon and a high near 90. 3 are dead after a shooting near Seattle's Space Needle on Sunday. 4 others injured when shots rang out. The youngest victim, just 2 years old.
One of the victims at Harborview Medical Center did not survive their injuries. So now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims.
Chief Tyrone Davis with Seattle Police. While the Trump administration says it's leaving the door open for talks with Iran, Israel's prime minister has a different endgame.
On Fox's Sunday Morning Futures, Israel's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said he sees this ending in a couple of ways.
When this regime is either toppled or it's sufficiently weakened that it knows it has to end its nuclear program and has to change its course.
A federal judge has ruled that an Illinois law allowing some undocumented immigrants to pay in-state tuition rates to attend the state's public colleges and universities is unconstitutional. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the app, 560theanswer.com/mobile. Next news at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your afternoon commute. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchek.
Good afternoon. Westbound I-80. It is closed between Kedzie and Pulaski due to fallen wires. And then we have the exit ramp closed southbound Tri-State to westbound I-80 with an accident. There are delays either way on the Tri-State to Saba Lakeshore Drive, still busy. Bishop poured up on a crash in the left lane at 103rd. A crash reported inbound 57. That one is at 111th. Scattered power outages throughout various areas and down power lines and trees to be watchful for. Outbound Eden, so that's clear on the Kennedy. Out to O'Hare from the Jameburn interchange, 50 minutes. Outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post Office to 390. Stevenson outbound, the exit ramp to California is closed with flooding. Give yourself 1 hour to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. 45 minutes in the locals on the outbound Ryan Titan Express, 47th to Marquette. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low of 69. On Tuesday, it'll be breezy with reduced humidity and hazy sunshine, reaching a high of 82. Tuesday night will bring a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will be sunny with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with CenterGuard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Estate jewelry, vintage watches, sell worldwide for true auction value. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's not that they don't know what to do. It's been evident for decades. If you want to run anything, you cannot employ a thief or a moron, which means it can't be run by Democrats. It's really quite that simple. And when you look around at how different areas are run, it's something to behold. For instance, some of the states that have gained are staggering. The 11 states that make up 74% of the GDP are where the decent people have gone to live and to work, the honest. And it turns out those are the only people that would even enjoy or understand what it's like to keep more of their money. See, the whole other side, I could play all the Democrat socialists, of which there's no such thing. They just want to steal money. They don't give a rip who it comes from. They're not interested at all in keeping their money. Their money's off the books, like the Democrats, like Pritzker from a trust fund that nobody knows, wired in from the Bahamas, or just a drug-dealing ghetto snipe that destroy the quality of life. They don't really pay any taxes. But we, the decent who pay taxes, we enjoy when we get to keep more of our own money.
Many taxpayers claimed at least one of President Trump's priorities of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, or the auto loan interest.
Approximately 62 million filers, or about 44%, Mr. Chairman.
And so what percent of tax filers who received a tax cut in filing season earned less than $100,000?
Just over 70%, sir.
70%?
70.
So what percent of waiters and other tipped workers who received a tax cut, thanks to the no tax on tips, earned less than $100,000?
90%.
90.
That's interesting, huh? Turns out tax cuts don't really benefit the rich. They already have accountants. They already have long-term capital gains, dividends, or just underhanded kickouts from the Bahamas, like the Flintstones, referred to as the Pritzkers. They understand. Who does it benefit? The hard workers. Now, the problem I always had with the big, beautiful bill was that overtime. That overtime, boy, that'll get you, huh? I mean, after all, if you run a business, you don't work overtime. You just work until you fall asleep. Then you wake up and you work again. Who really makes overtime? And see, you have to know how the Democrat mafia areas work. Who makes the most overtime? Guaranteed. The municipal workers. Now, New York invented it. New Jersey perfected it. Chicago made it an art form. But California took that art form, and they really upped it up. How does a fireman make $1 million in overtime? Now, does he get to fall under the no tax on overtime?
And tonight we can tell you that the city says we don't have a choice. They have to fill these battalion chief roles. There are not enough members of the department to fill those battalion chief roles. And the person you're going to see on your screen here, Nicholas Ferrari, is one of them that's willing to step up. We pulled public records and
Nicholas Ferrari, of which after his $1 million a year fireman job where he works one day and gets 2 off, he has 3 Ferraris now. And he doesn't pay any tax on the overtime.
Found out his salary last year, $968,000, $653,000 of it in overtime the year before.
Now, theoretically, he can never be a taxpayer. See, his money comes from government. So he'll never be a taxpayer. But the idea that he just gets to skate with the $700,000 that he pays no taxes on, that's not good.
That's $644,000 in overtime, and the year before that, $456,000 in overtime. For reference, his base pay about $279,000. Chief Ferrari currently assigned to the risk management section, but picking up overtime all over the city. Take a look at the statement we got from the Los Angeles.
See, and that's why that moron with the faux hawk, that's just a little off center, that you pay $37,000 a year to get that faux hawk done, Brandon Johnson. That's why he hired 9,000 foot soldiers. See, they're not really government workers. They're foot soldiers. And you know who knows that? Every Democrat in every area. Now that we're in 50 states, Squirrel, right? Online, we're in 50 states. We're in 20 different countries. All the people from Ukraine, former Soviet Union, to anywhere socialism works. It's always better to be a foot soldier for the government than it is somebody they steal your house.
In today's filings, Cummings says she used to have access to city records. The filings include an affidavit from a former city solicitor who helped create her office. Well, Fox 45's Jeff Abel joins us tonight live with the breakdown of this entire case. Jeff.
Well, the tug-of-war over transparency is growing much tighter tonight as the Inspector General accuses the mayor of going to great lengths to shield his conduct from...
Now, the mayor of Baltimore is another moron socialist like Mondamne or Brandon Johnson, his first job in the real big world. And he's another Democrat stealing the money. So here's some good news, Squirrel. In Hawaii, you know, where we have that Hirono, who looks a lot like Yamana from Barney Miller, one of the dumbest politicians, and that's saying something. She's a senator from Hawaii. Hawaii, the one that Barack Obama, also Barry Soetoro when he moved there. That's where he came from when he needed all his records printed up and frauded. He was in the right spot. Democrat scum from soup to nuts. Here's some good news, Squirrel. It looks like a lot of these crooks got caught, Chicago style, with their hand in the cookie jar.
We continue to follow breaking news on today's public corruption indictments of 5 people, including former and current state officials.
New tonight, authorities have released the mugshots for 4 of them, including Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke.
Now, you would think when a lieutenant governor is arrested, even though it's Hawaii, that would be on Sunday, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be on like a Sunday show or just a news blurb, even a little one? Listen, 5 high-ranking Hawaiian Democrat scumbags finally got caught. In fact, it goes right up, boop, below the governor. Did you hear about it, Squirrel? Other than right now? Of course not. The cover-up. That's why I don't give a rip about the correspondence dinner. Commie pigs.
Only our camera was there as Luke arrived at the Sheriff's Division in Kaka'ako this afternoon for her booking.
That's fun to say.
She posted $80,000 bail and was released. Luke has been on unpaid leave since April. Now she's charged with conspiracy to commit bribery, and falsifying election documents. And Governor Josh Green said in a statement this afternoon she needs to consider resigning.
Also facing bribery and conspiracy charges, former lawmaker and Department of Human...
See, now Magnum P.I. would have caught this, but Barack Obama and Bigfoot, Michelle, kicked him out of Robin's Nest. Now you've got to go with Dano. Booker, Dano! 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died, yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
It's hard to deny the constant attack of negative emotions that flood us online. The fear, anxiety, worry, and confusion that come from the constant stream of news and social media can be overwhelming. There is a way to escape this never-ending cycle and find peace, hope, and joy in your daily life. Christianity.com, with a wide range of daily devotionals, biblical answers to life's toughest questions, and insightful Bible study articles from your favorite pastors and authors on current events and issues, Christianity.com provides a little heaven on earth. Go to Christianity.com now.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, squirrel. To grow up when I did, Hawaii was it. And think it's run just like the ghetto Chicago. Morons and crooked Democrats.
Show questions. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No. Have you? Because I don't know a convict that would look at your Yamana-looking ass and say, I got to have it, baby. I don't know anybody that wants to fool around with Detective Yamana from Barney Miller, of which she is the spitting image, this ugly moron imbecile that she is.
No, Senator. Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct? No, Senator. Mr. Blanche, over the...
Senator, every moron who voted for you're stupid too, or you're just crooked like the Chicago ones.
This is not about voter ID. Oh, stop that. That's like a total bullshit. description of the SAVE Act. Let me just focus on one part of the SAVE Act.
Uh-huh.
In order to register to vote, you're going to have to show different pieces of documents. So if you're, let's say, a woman who got married, changed your last name, and if your last name doesn't match the name on your birth certificate, you're not going to be able to register to vote.
What if you're an illegal alien and you just want to get a driver's license to run over a few Americans?
The U.S. Department of Transportation is warning Illinois it's at risk of losing $128 million in funding. A federal review of the state's CDL program shows almost 20% of licenses have been issued illegally. The Transportation Secretary says Americans have been forced to share their roadways with unqualified and unvetted foreign drivers. The DOT says Illinois.
2 out of 10. Don't know what it. Make the stop sign say alto. See if that can get it to work. Por favor, yellow line. Moron. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shaun. You know, over there in Berlin, they used another vehicle to ram.
Shiite happens. I just read the story. The story in Berlin. It was on the paper. It said Shiite happens. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aloha snack
Even
bar.
in Florida, 2 illegals ram into an 83-year-old in Publix. Ridiculous.
Well, what are you doing giving them a Buick? First of all, did you ever notice how the illegal aliens who never worked a day in their life, how come they all can afford cars? Is that grant money that they're stealing or just entitlements? You remember being a kid, Eduardo? Walking the street thinking, I got to get 4 other jobs. I want to buy my Auntie Bing's old Caprice. You got to work. All of a sudden, they get here last Thursday. They're driving around in a Buick. Something stinks. They're stealing the money. $1.3 trillion in grant money, and over 70% of it is gone in the wind. All Democrat areas, Eduardo. Alto! George, Naperville.
Yeah, you mentioned Dano on Hawaii 5-0. Did he pay more for his due than Brandon does?
I'll tell you what, he was twice the beauty queen of this Mazie Hirono. Oh, my word. Has anybody seen her, or am I just the one who appreciates it? But I did love him. He was a degenerate detective, like to bet the horses.
I call stealing our votes.
Your whole fracking state, a Democrat ghetto. And you know what else is funny, Squirrel? They came up with that birth certificate. Yeah, you did. Everybody knows that, Barack. You were born in Kenya, weren't you there, dummy? Well, your mother had to. It was 1961. She was knocked up by your father, Barack Obama. Where else was she going to go and have you?
Tonight, for the first time, I am releasing my official birth video. I want to make clear to the Fox News table, that was a joke.
Now, you're the joke. And you know what I love about that, Squirrel? That's 2011. And at that correspondence dinner, he goes on to make fun of Donald Trump. Thank God that stupid thief bust out who couldn't make his car payment when he was in Chicago, and that greasy, slimy Tony Resco had to help him buy the property when it was Rod Blagojevich's wife who made the commission in Hyde Park. Thank God he made fun of Trump, because for the first time in 100 years, we at least have somebody who is a man, a businessman, who made decisions for people who make the country to go around rather than more trillions to be stolen. He's the first one, Squirrel. Since this idiot bust out married to that ugly dog of a broad, since he became president, $30 trillion on the national debt, the bulk of it stolen in their fraud, welfare, Obamacare, ghetto care, or grants, which was the new way to steal $1.3 trillion a year, every year. In Illinois, Stan, $35 to $43 billion a year, along with the federal subsidies of $35 to $37 billion. You know what that means? Over $70 billion goes to one state. Where's the money? Where's the money? We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
For a lot of workplaces, the work week doesn't end on Friday. That's why there's EasyCater, the best way to order food from favorite restaurants for your hardworking team, even on weekends. With EasyCater, you'll find great options for any group size and any shift, with tools to help meet dietary needs, stay on budget, and simplify expenses, all backed by our award-winning 24/7 support. EasyCater, your Monday through Sunday workplace food platform. Start an order for your weekend crew at easycater.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
As civilization pushes back against the Islamo-Nazi cultist global intifada and that moron cult that is destroying the quality of life around the world, my next guest is the perfect guest to have. A Shulman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He also is the author of Israel and Civilization, syndicated columnist, host of the Josh Hammer Show. The aforementioned Josh Hammer will join us to discuss the Islamo-Nazi joy of the world and so much more after Mike Scott.
Stop. Hammer time.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Watch out for a chance of a thunderstorm with a high near 90 today. 6 are wounded in a mass shooting on Chicago's west side. Shots rang out Sunday in the 900 block of North Central Park Avenue. 2 victims are listed in critical condition today. A Lio man is charged in a deadly boat crash on the Fox River near McHenry. Richard Stevenson was arrested on charges of reckless homicide and aggravated driving under the influence, resulting in death. 3 are dead after a shooting near Seattle's Space Needle Sunday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he'll be in New York for the UN General Assembly.
I've appeared just about every year, not every year, but almost every year in my prime ministership, unless there are security conditions. But barring that, and I don't expect that to be the case this time, yes, I do intend to come to New York.
While the Trump administration says it's leaving the door open for talks with Iran, the Houthis have struck 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. Chicago sports, Cubs and Cardinals tonight, White Sox and Yankees. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges. You can join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending mixed and oil prices tumbled on the U.S.-Iran ceasefire. The tech-heavy Nasdaq fell as chip stocks lost ground on concerns about competition from China. China-based chipmaker CXMT going public with its stock surging. The move led to a sell-off of semiconductor and memory chip makers. NVIDIA shares fell 5%, dragging its market value below that of Apple's. Investors are concerned about the possibility that the chip giant could provide roughly $250 billion in financing for a massive OpenAI data center project. Apple stock rose 1% and notching its 17th record close of the year. Oil prices fell with West Texas Intermediate crude settling under $83 a barrel. The Dow up 263 points, the Nasdaq lower by 44, S&P 500 up a point. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
Tired of that outdated bath or shower but dread the cost and hassle of a lengthy remodel? Let Jacuzzi Bath Remodel come to the rescue with the perfect bathroom remodel at a price you can afford. Maybe stepping over that high bathtub feels unsafe, or you want to add a beautiful bath your whole family can enjoy. Whether it's a safer, easy entry shower complete with grab bars and a custom seat, to a beautiful spa-like family bath that's functional and stylish. With a Jacuzzi Bath Remodel, you can enjoy your personalized bath or shower installed in as little as 1 day. Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. To schedule your free design consultation and quote, call now. Call 800-384-5277. That's 800-384-5277. 800-384-5277. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Ford at Cottage Grove, there is flooding to watch for. Solid from the Dan Ryan. Very busy on DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State northbound, the off-ramp to I-80 closed with a crash. Then we have the exit ramp closed southbound to I-80 again with that crash. Shane Adams is okay. I-80 remains closed westbound right near the Tri-State to I-57 due to fallen wires, which are scattered throughout the Chicagoland area. On the Kennedy out, 45 from downtown Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post Office to 390 Stevenson in, a crash reported at Lamont. The outbound side, give yourself 45 minutes to the Tri-State hour to 355. Exit ramps California closed with flooding. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions. To surround your target audience, go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and humid conditions with a low of 69. On Tuesday, expect breezy winds and lower humidity levels along with hazy sunshine and a high of 82. Tuesday night will feature a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will bring abundant sunshine and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
In the fight against good versus evil, which is what the fight is. It's not political nuances, not at all. It's right versus wrong and good versus evil. Wrong and evil have an entire propaganda wing. They call it media, no question about it. It's the year 2026, and we're still entertaining people who tell you if you do not conform to their religion, they'll kill you. And we say, okay. My next guest says no, not so okay. He fights tirelessly against it. He is a Shulman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He also is a syndicated columnist, author of Israel and Civilization, and host of the Josh Hammer Show. Josh Hammer, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Shaun. Thanks for having me back.
It's really this simple and this preposterous. You know, as you watch this, and you and I mean, we're in the news business, right? I mean, it's all over the world. It seems the only place that understands what the real threat of the Islamo-Nazi is Japan. And Japan is the only one that handled it the right way. Get out. Why is the rest of the world so slow on the uptake?
Listen, there's a prevailing mentality that all cultures are equal and all peoples and all cultures are interchangeable. A lot of this dates back to the era of globalism, to the end of the Cold War and the post-Berlin Wall era, the era of openness, if you will. We tended to cease thinking along lines of nationalism and just think that everything was global. America was the unambiguous hegemon, and free trade was everywhere, and open borders were everywhere, and this mentality really sunk in that human beings, with all of our complexity, despite the fact that we are made, as the Bible says, in the image of God and all of that, we could be treated essentially as widgets, and that human beings could be as interchangeable as widgets on an economics 101 chalkboard. So you can treat immigration the same way that you can treat trade. And there are a million reasons why this is a tragic mentality, but I think a lot of thinking about Islam and various other cultures, religions, worldviews, and ways of life that are fundamentally incompatible with biblical Judeo-Christian Western civilization. I think a lot of thinking resulted in people just mixing and matching these worldviews, and that is a recipe for subversion at absolute best and absolute civilizational suicide at worst.
And the specificity of what we face, I think, in my opinion, traces right back to Barack Obama and the era of pay your enemy, steal money in Democrat enclaves, because what they understood, what Chicago really understood, is that magic needs a beautiful assistant. Theft and chaos and the collapse of society needs an ugly assistant. And the ugly assistant is criminals let out on the street repeatedly. The feudalism of police work and law enforcement. The feudalism of capitalism is only the people who pay taxes are the ones that work. But on the world stage, where the money really goes out the door, and the vast majority of the $30 trillion added to the national debt since Barack Obama was late on his car payment from the west side of Chicago, that really goes to the enemies of Americanism, both foreign and domestic. I don't think you can trace any president, American president, who was a bigger asset to enemies, foreign and domestic, of America than Barack Obama. I'm wondering what you think of that.
Listen, I went to law school at the University of Chicago Law School. I lived in Chicago for 3 years. I lived for my first year of law school right down the street from Barack Obama's old home in Hyde Park, actually. His portrait is still hanging outside classroom 5 of my law school to this day. And I've been tracing this man for a very long time. So many of our current ills I trace back to Barack Obama. And I talk about this topic a lot, actually, on my own daily show, The Josh Hammer Show. And to me, what we are seeing when it comes to the DSA, when we're seeing when it comes to third worldism, when it comes to this lust, this zeal for barbarism over civilization, as you accurately refer to as the rise of the domestic enemies, this really does go back to Barack Obama's pre-2008 campaign pledge, which he pledged on the precipice of his victory over John McCain, where he said that we are going to fundamentally transform America. And it is something of a truism that one does not seek to fundamentally transform that which he loves. If you think something is good and beautiful, then you should take care to preserve it. Perhaps you might want to incrementally tinker with it, hoping that it can get even better. But you simply do not, quote, fundamentally transform that which you already love. So the Barack Obama left already hated America. The DSA is simply attempting to finish the job. They're trying to take it even further, because these people don't just seek to fundamentally transform America, Shaun. They actually want to end it. They actually want to burn it down. And at times of rare candor, they actually say so quite explicitly, don't they? So, for instance, this lunatic in New York City, Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, not that I really care if I'm not, but she's the one who just won her primary.
Very continental, Josh. Very continental. Yes, I know who she is. Yes, I'm aware.
Right. So she's the one who just won the primary in New York City. And, she was one of the founders of the group known as CUAD, Columbia University Apartheid and Divest. Now, at face value, this is just an anti-Israel, pro-Hamas organization. I say just as if that's, a small deal. It's terrible on its face, to be clear. But if you actually look at what that organization stands for, they say they want to tear down Western civilization. They actually say this. They actually say our goal is to end Western civilization. And, we know from Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun, the words of King Solomon back in the Bible. And this really does go back to Karl Marx, too, because Karl Marx himself had the ultimate goal of what? Of tearing down all of Western civilization, of tearing down all of capitalism, all of Christendom, which he essentially conflated those two things, Christendom and capitalism. These are today's radicals. They are attempting to finish the job of all the radicals before then going back probably as far as the French Revolution itself and all that's followed. So that's what we're seeing in his unhinged stuff. And the genie was broadly kept in the bottle until Barack Obama. Barack Obama unleashed a lot of it. And now this post-George Floyd world that we're living in has unleashed a lot of it still. And it seems to get worse and worse by the day. By the way, I take no particular pleasure in this. I should clarify that. I'm a conservative. I've never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, and I have no intention of starting tomorrow. But I do think that America fundamentally operates better when there are two political parties that are not bat crap crazy insane. Our politics is healthier. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Here's the issue that I've noticed for a long time. Tell me if you think it's credible. The beauty of America is that it's founded on the individual. This entire country, the youngest and the richest with the highest quality of life, is the only country that is founded on the individual rights of the citizen, not the power of the government. The problem I have with parties is parties try to take that away as well. I noticed this. There's nothing worse than a Democrat nationally than an Illinois Republican. So I've never been one of these party guys. I don't wave our banner. To me, it's about very specific people. And once you take the individuality out of anything, now you have the collective. And that is a posse. And that is a group of people that, if motivated, if envious, if jealous, can really destroy anything, whether they're a political party or this new movement of the American commie. And that's the problem I think we have, right? We keep trying to corral almost each other into just taking the party politics. What I loved about Trump, who I rejected very early on, did not vote for him. Everybody who listens to me knows this. In 2016. And the reason was his relationship with the Clintons. He was very cozy with Bill Clinton. His relationship in Chicago. He had hired nine-finger Yakuza, Rahm Emanuel, $50,000. He gave Ed Burke, who went to prison. I don't know if you know much, if you remember that name. I'm sure you did. You lived here for years. The big fat slob who was an alderman in charge of finance. He was a gangster for 50 years. He finally went away. Convicted felon. That was Trump's lawyer. So I said, I'm not going to, and he earned my respect for him, because to me, what he represents is that Kennedy Democrat and that Reagan Republican. He is the first third party. I think where the real opportunity is missed is that he and his marketing team didn't understand that and take advantage of it. I don't think the window's closed, but who are we going to go with? Am I going to go with John Thune or Mitch McConnell, who I think is having tea with the Ayatollah? I think that son of a gun's been dead for 3 weeks, but that's just me. The reality is I think the party politics, we undermine our own individuality from the side of the right. Do you think that way?
Well, listen, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. Look, at a face level, I agree with you when it comes to political parties. I mean, I have no particular love for the two-party system, to be honest with you. I think in some ways, actually, a multi-party democracy is probably even healthier. You get more of a marketplace of ideas at different party platforms. There's a lot to not like about America's two-party system. That's just the way it's been essentially since the country's origins, really, in the very first party system with the Federalist Party of Washington, Adams, and Jay and Hamilton versus the Madisonian Jeffersonians. And then the Whigs replaced the Federalists, and we've essentially been kind of off to the races from there. So I have no love for the party system. And listen, there have been Republican candidates on the ballot before who I have refused to vote for various reasons. I obviously agree that we should be about ideas and principles and policies and political philosophy and all the above. That's what I care about personally, much more so than just blindly voting for a particular political party. I disagree with you a little bit, to be candid, when it comes to the centrality of individualism versus some notion of the common good. I'm not saying that individual moral worth dignity is not absolutely core to the American experiment. Of course it is. It's right there in the Declaration. All of this, of course, is intellectually downstream of Genesis 1:27, the notion that we're made in God's image. So this is clearly a part of the American experiment. But the preamble of the Constitution also speaks about more I don't want to say collective, this becomes such a dirty word, but more common good oriented aims, shall we? We'll talk about forming a more perfect union, common defense, promote the general welfare, et cetera. So America has always been kind of this balancing act where we care deeply about individual moral worth of dignity, but we also do care about the collective. Now, that has nothing to do with the party system, by the way. Parties can not be a part of the puzzle, and we can still seek to preserve the common good for all. But that's the delicate balancing act America has always been dealing with. Yeah,
right. But without the rule of law, without the fundamental understanding of what is law, what is liberty, what is the mission, and when I say we, I mean the people who are the opposition to the American communists. We have somehow put ourselves in a position where we actually fund failure, and what is undeniable now in Democrat areas. Failure is the goal. Chaos is the goal. The ghetto is the goal. And if we continue to fund this, if we continue to allow $30 trillion in 18 years, Josh, think about when you were back here in Chicago. What was the debt? What was the debt when you were in college? Was it $8 trillion? Was it $6? Was it $4? Look at what has happened in just 18 years. If we don't stop this on the principle of right and wrong, it's wrong to finance people stealing you. We're going to lose. And I think there are enough former Democrats who are not blue-eyed white devils, former Democrats who are not Christians, former Democrats who are not party-affiliated, to really come together under a movement of Americanism. I really believe that because, after all, that's what we want. Me and you and all the decent people. It's all we want. I don't want anything from anybody. And, this whole thing of what Trump represents, he represents that. Look at his big, beautiful bill. What does it do? It gives money to the people who make it. It gives them their own money. Everything else is about the virtue of taking from somebody else or from debt in the future. We win on the principle of the argument. I don't know where we lost the ability to make it. And I don't mean me and you. Listen, our shows are kicking ass. We're doing great. I'm talking about the people who we send, the 535 guys who are supposed to represent us. It's amazing how either incompetent, which that's the virtue that I think they're shooting for, or just downright in on it they are. Don't you think we got to break it before it all becomes Chicago?
Well, 1,000%, yes, when it comes to spending. And I love your frame, by the way. In fact, in my show just today, I went on a riff about how the fundamental divide in our politics is between civilization and barbarism. That really is how I see it. I mean, when I think of every issue around the world, the nation state is civilization. Open borders is chaos, anarchy, and barbarism. Standing for criminals is barbarism. Standing for law and order and law enforcement is civilization. And you can basically do every issue, even in foreign policy, Israel versus Hamas. I mean, every issue in politics, both domestic and foreign, ends up boiling down to this stark moral divide of civilization versus barbarism. And I like what you said about Donald Trump as well, because you're right that Trump is somewhat of a clumsy fit for a capital R Republican. And that's why I tend to think of our divides these days as not necessarily between R and D, and not necessarily even between left and right. In fact, before the election, before the Trump-Kamala Harris election on my show, what I was doing was I was trying to frame it as not being an R versus D or left-right election. I was trying to say you're either on team civilizational sanity or team civilizational arson. You are a sane person that is trying to generally preserve and maintain your civilizational inheritance, maybe tinker with it, maybe improve it here or there, ultimately trying to, as you correctly point out, try to save our posterity, future generations from being indebted to the tune of tens of trillions of dollars. Or on the other hand, you think that all of this was conceived in sin and oppression and colonialism and, insert your ism of choice, I suppose, transphobia, xenophobia, whatever you want to call it, and you're trying to burn the whole darn thing down. So that's the basic divide. I know which side of that divide I'm on. The beauty of Donald Trump, whatever his faults may be, and I definitely have some bones to pick, especially over how this whole Iran thing has been handled, but whatever his faults may be, he is a man who knows which side of the civilization versus barbarism fault line he is on. He is an unambiguous positive force for Team Civilization. For that, I find myself very, very grateful for him.
The other thing, too, is that good people of good nature and good conscience are at a disadvantage when dealing with pirates, gypsies, and scoundrels. They really are. Because they cast upon strangers their own virtue. They cast upon strangers their own intention. And that's a huge mistake when you're dealing with somebody who has intentions that are exactly the opposite, to rob you. When you're dealing with somebody who wants to rob you and you try to solve the problem from the goal of solving the problem or achieving success, you're at a disadvantage because you're playing into their hands. And that's really how I go back to those Democrat years when Chicago went from just a town where you had some friends and they called it clout to absolute and total Soviet corruption. And it's all delivered by the Chicago Democrat. And it was fascinating to watch how people were making excuses to fight what they see with their own eyes. From the election theft of 2020 to Joe Biden repeatedly saying, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble. Did you ever hear a president talk like that in all of your life, paying attention to politics? An American president would come out repeatedly. I'm in trouble. I can't talk too much. I'll be in trouble. In trouble with who? In trouble with the Leviathan. The Leviathan and the cult of the American mafia built in Chicago. Barack Obama orchestrated all of that. When Tulsi Gabbard releases the 100 pages where he instructed the CIA and the FBI, somebody's got to go to jail for this. And if you don't do it, then they get away with it. He's got $40 million in real estate alone. He couldn't make his car payment. He was getting it from some half-ass bookmaker in my neighborhood to make his car payment when he was a state senator. So ultimately, we've got the evidence. Do you think that Blanche, and I pray that he has the testicle fortitude, made up the word I know, but the fortitude to move forward and prosecute some of these people? Because without that, you insult every carpenter, every electrician, every guy busting his ass, every law student, if you don't prosecute them, don't you?
I couldn't agree with you more. And one of the reasons, so among the hats I wear, Shaun, is I am senior counsel at a group called the Article 3 Project, and we've been emphatically supportive of the Todd Blanche nomination for Attorney General. I would say largely actually on these exact grounds, actually. One of our leading grounds for doing so, that we think that Todd Blanche is uniquely positioned to actually meaningfully pursue justice when it comes to the lawfare. And the reason for that is because he knows where the bodies are buried. So Todd Blanche's basic resume, to kind of cut to the chase here, the career highlights are he was an 8-year prosecutor at SDNY, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. That's in Manhattan. Major white-collar crime. So he was an 8-year prosecutor there. And most recently, he was Pam Bondi's deputy attorney general, which means that he essentially runs the department on a day-to-day basis while the attorney general is more the public-facing figurehead. But the key thing to note is what he did between those stints, between what he did at SDNY and then ultimately at Maine Justice over the past year and a half. He was Donald Trump's lead defense attorney at the height of the Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, Jack Smith lawfare. Above arguably any other lawyer in the country, and there are some exceptions. So, for instance, our current Solicitor General, a great attorney, John Sauer, rushed to defend Donald Trump. My good personal friend, Will Sharf, is currently Staff Secretary of the White House. Will Sharf defended Donald Trump. But maybe even more so than those guys, more than anyone else, you had Todd Blanche that ran from the line because he saw a Stalinist persecution here. And He did what a lot of the old crusty barnacles of the conservative legal establishment never would have done. So Blanche knows where the bodies are buried here. He knows where the skeletons are in the closet. And I think that he is going to do his absolute most to try to get us justice. Now, will we actually get people sent to jail? I cannot predict that. I just can't. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not just up to top Blanche. It's up to grand juries, up to juries, up to judges. There's too many parts in this very murky soup. But I think that if anyone's going to get as close to possible as getting real justice for this grievous wrong that was perpetrated against American people, I think it's Todd Blanche. And that's one of the many reasons that I'm very excited for him to be the full Attorney General of the United States.
Yes, I mean, the agenda of Barack Obama, as he used to have Che Guevara in his campaign office, the agenda is what we're facing today. That's all. He was the acorn, this is the tree. It's that simple. And if we don't use law as the rule of law and the shield of the citizen, and it becomes the spear of the government, that's going to be a rough couple of years, kid. And I feel they already stole 4 from us. So the good news is I think there are fantastic states, and I just need the government, while it's in charge by decent people are in charge of it, I need them to put up barriers to make sure that everything can't become Chicago. Because don't get me wrong, I'll navigate through it the way I always did. But that's not right. That's not America. That's becoming used to low living and a Soviet mafia that poses as government. So I love the fact that you fight this every day. Where can we get a hold of the Josh Hammer Show?
Yeah, so thank you. So I'm on X at Josh_Hammer. Instagram is Josh B. Hammer. The Josh Hammer Show available every your podcast. It's actually the Salem Podcast Network. It's actually also on the Salem News Channel every weeknight at 10 p.m., weekend evenings at 11 p.m., also on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcasts as well.
You know what else? I've been around these guys my whole life. And they have a certain smarmy arrogance and ignorance in the fact that they're getting away with it. I couldn't stand it. To this day, I can't even. I went back for 9 days. I think I lost more hair than I should have in those 9 days. And after Trump was robbed, we were invited, AM 560, and I got a chance to go to Mar-a-Lago. And to see the reaction and all of the decent people, Rudy Giuliani, and all of the people who couldn't believe we couldn't get that election audited. And at the end, he's walking out, and I was able to shake Trump's hand. And he did something politicians don't do. He looked you right in the eye. He looked me right in the eye. And we talked for a second. You know who does that? Men outside of government. That's what we do. This is the first time we've been in this position. If we can't win now, Josh, and you and I are going to have a hell of a time as we get old, kicking everyone's ass on the air. What do you think?
Shaun, I'm happy to be in the fight with you, and I genuinely hope that we get justice for these crimes that are hoisted on the American Republic. Because fundamentally, if you don't get accountability, you don't get justice. The truth is, the same damn thing is going to happen over and over and over again. That, above all, is why it is so important to nip this thing in the bud right freaking now.
Josh Hammer, thanks for joining me. I look forward to the next time. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
The law group you know and trust, Nauman & Associates, is expanding into commercial litigation. When disputes can't be resolved, get the strategic guidance from a litigation lawyer who will fight for your rights. Attorney Richard Cannon brings both strong courtroom and dispute settlement skills. We believe most cases can be resolved without costly courtroom battles, but we prepare as if a trial is possible. When your company needs to stand its ground, contact Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village. For a consultation, visit nalawgroup.com.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
A good insurance agent is key to success. I don't care if you think you are with a good company. You probably are. There are many, many good companies. But is it the exact right company that fits your needs? Allstate, great company. State Farm, great company. Nationwide, all great. They're all great. But do they fit your needs specifically? And do they fit your budget exclusively? Tommy and TJ Iaquinta will know that. And all you have to do is call 708-328-5150. And make sure that you're getting charged properly and not too much for your car, your boat, your motorcycle, for your home, for your investment property. Other companies, when you call, they'll give you the best price they can at that company. But Tommy and TJ Iaquinta, they'll give you the best price for you at a multitude of different companies. And when you call 708-328-5150, they pick up the phone. No press 1 for Inglés. No. They pick up the phone. You talk right to them. They handle it. Or if you're more of an online guy, real easy. 560 Insurance. 560insurance.com, where you can get a free quote in minutes. These are South Side, Chicagoans, Illinoisans. Moreover, they're good capitalists who built a company by delivering service and value to their customers. They're not ashamed to be capitalists. They're proud of it. And they're proud to deliver peace of mind to you. That's the beauty of dealing with Class A insurance. Class A insurance, you can reach them at 708-328-5150. And you're probably going to hear Tommy or TJ Iaquinta, father and son, right there in Chicago. 560insurance.com. When we get back, call 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments. Unless, of course, you're a smarmy on the take Democrat. Then you're a speed bump. Stay off the air. But for the rest of you, 321-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun, in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A breezy, warm afternoon with a chance of a thunderstorm and a high near 90. 6 were wounded in a mass shooting on Chicago's west side. Shots rang out yesterday in the 900 block of North Central Park Avenue. Today, 2 remain in critical condition. 3 are dead after a shooting near Seattle's Space Needle Sunday. 4 others were hurt.
One of the victims at Harborview Medical Center did not survive their injuries. So now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims.
Seattle Chief Tyrone Davis says they're looking for another suspect. Police in Germany have shot dead a suspect in a deadly ramming attack on Berlin's Pride Parade. And a federal judge has ruled an Illinois law allowing some undocumented immigrants to pay in-state tuition rates to attend the state's public colleges and universities is unconstitutional. Cubs and Cardinals tonight. White Sox host the Yankees. The news a service of Fox Valley Coins. Currently buying all gold and silver bars, coins, silver dollars, rare date, proof, and mint sets. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. Next news at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And a check of the evening roads up next with Jill Urchak.
It's okay on the outbound Edens. The Kennedy downtown 2 O'Hare, 50 minutes. Eisenhower 1 hour. Post Office 2390. Stevenson, a crash reported at Damon. Exit ramp close to California. 50 out to the Tri-State, hour and 10 to 355. Outbound Dan Ryan, there's an accident reported at 63rd, and that is solid between the Skyway and 95th because of flooding. Also flooding on the outbound Ford, and that is right near Cottage Grove. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State North exit ramp close to westbound 80 with an accident. And westbound 80 remains shut down between the Tri-State and I-57 due to fallen wires. This report is the service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low of 69. On Tuesday, it'll be breezy with reduced humidity and hazy sunshine, reaching a high of 82. Tuesday night will bring a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will be sunny with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In Will County, regular no lead is $3.77 a gallon at the Casey's on Eames Street in Shanahan, $3.87 a gallon at the Murphy's Express on Weber Road in Romeoville, and $3.89 a gallon at the Gas and Wash on Division in Coal City.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How many times are you going to walk into that outdated bathroom and think, I really need a bathroom makeover? Stop putting it off and transform your bathroom and your life in as little as one day with a beautiful, affordable shower makeover from Jacuzzi Bath Remodel. Choose from custom designs tailored to your budget and style, including safety-focused features for beauty and peace of mind.
I've had a great experience from start to finish. The crew that came in, they were so professional. This looks like a marble, beautiful, new shower, and it was done all in one day.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-384-3318. That's 800-384-3318. Call 800-384-3318. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Charge from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Until now, hard-left influencer Hassan Piker was perhaps best known for appearing to use an electric shock collar on his dog during a live stream. Now he's making news again for addressing the College Democrats of America convention dressed as Mao Zedong. Piker's called Mao, quote, one of the great leaders of this world, unquote. Yet Mao's policies are widely estimated to have caused the deaths of between 40 and 70 million people. Had Piker shown up dressed as Hitler, the outrage would have been immediate and rightly so. Mao deserves no better. Piker's appearance and his denunciation of mainstream Democrats for compromising with so-called fascists reflects the extremist rhetoric gaining ground on the left. Unless Democrats of good faith confront that radical fringe, their party risks losing itself. Let's hope it's not already too late. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Have military collectibles? Turn that history into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Kick it!
City right now did not start.
Stop talking, because we don't want to hear anything you've been saying. You're going to say the same thing you all say every time a black body gets shot down in this city. This is a corrupt city. That's right. Have no fear. The anti-Zionist is here. You understand me? You won't be able to talk today because I'm going to keep talking.
That's when I tuned off. Then he goes on to make a speech about the communists and Zionists and colonialists. Shut the frack up, bust-out scumbag lowlife. You just want to steal somebody else's money. You notice how you didn't hear any of this nonsense after Joe Biden successfully stolen the election of 2020? And it was because this is all financed by grant money, by foreign policy money. It comes back onto our shore and bribes these useless morons. What was the job that you did when you could allegedly work there, bust out?
I was born to talk my talk and walk my walk too. I told these young people back here on my way here.
Is he paying taxes? I got $5 says he's a reverend of some sort. Reverend of perpetual tax evasion.
That we have the power, not that badge, not that weapon. We have the power. The city of Madison is corrupt from the DA to the...
City of Madison is corrupt because it's run by scum Democrats. Yeah. All your cities by Democrats. And you liked it when the stooge was there. You didn't even give a rip. Who in the frack was he talking about, Squirrel? You remember this?
I'm not supposed to be having this press conference. I'm not supposed to be answering all these questions. I'm going to get in trouble with my staff. Yeah, go ahead, but I pretend that you didn't answer you. I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead.
We need you to move. We need you to move. We need you to move. Thank you. Let them get on with the meeting. Thank you.
Criticism that this...
You're trying to compromise by your family's business relationship.
Sir, Mr. President...
Ask the question when they have more polite people. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you.
That was when he pulled out of Afghanistan. And the dummies were hanging on to the plane. They thought they could make it. How'd that work out for you?
What do you say to the folks in India?
Look, I'm sorry. This is the last question I'll take. And I'm really going to be in trouble.
Trouble with who? Trouble with who? I mean, who is in charge? Is it Rahm Emanuel? Is it this little nine-finger Yakuza? He's supposed to be a tough guy. Let's get in a room, Rahm. Me, you, your 9 fingers, and a bologna sandwich. See if I leave you in the corner shivering while I eat it.
I believe in growth. I think there are 5 pillars to it. One is turning a tax code away.
I think I could slap the taste out of your mouth, your brothers. Pick one. Pick all of them. J.B. Pritzker in his T-shirt. What a despicable display that was this weekend. Don't dress like a man. Wear layers if you're going to cover up your useless body.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know.
Layers.
It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot of lines on your property tax bill that indicate what units of government are doing that. You need local governments to decide they are going to lower or at least stop raising property taxes.
You know, it's a funny thing. You feel, because you're listening, most of you, you're listening to this and you're like, this Illinois, it's terrible in Cook County and Illinois. And it's everywhere. They are. Everywhere. Minnesota.
We have been reporting about significant tax increases in Minnesota, and tonight counties are blaming the state.
They say unfunded mandates, new programs the state requires but does not pay for are a big reason why your taxes are going up. Harrison Klopp.
See, the counties where the decent live, like in Illinois, where the decent live, are destroyed and pick up the tab, as always, for the indecent.
And we don't raise those property taxes. They do. It gets effectuated by the local governments, local units of government that vote on raising or lowering property taxes.
Vote Democrat. I dare you. You want to live in a ghetto? You want to listen to this bull dung for the rest of your life?
What's the name of this? The Department of Independent Monitoring. We don't want any of that talk. You've given us this speech with you'll deliver justice.
And the cops just sat there. Somebody get Dickie Leone out of the grave. Get Potts, get Big Phil. Split this moron's head wide open. The hell are you doing? And the quality of life. Where were you? In Chirac when the 5-year-old got shot. Where were you when the 27 got shot all around our once great city? Where exactly were they all? Were they protesting? Or were they on the other side of the 9mm? What do you think?
I'm not supposed to be having this press conference.
The greatest scam ever. They don't just steal elections. There are $6 trillion a year on autopilot to all these ghetto areas. And yet your taxes go up and up and up. I know.
WGN investigates this afternoon. This week marks 3 months since sheriff's police started patrolling CTA trains. They'll put together a long-term plan based on their findings. One of the big issues, 80 to 90% of riders on some lines fail to pay for rides.
So you mean they're socialists? Socialists don't want to pay, right? Is that going to be the utopia? The utopia that they're going to deliver is on one of the ghetto lines of the CTA where you get your head split open. Don't worry. The criminal, they got the judge in their pocket. Just like all the Democrat thieves that when they were aldermen. Right? Like Ed Burke and Mike Madigan. That's how Pritzker got his taxes lowered. Got the judge in your pocket.
Fox 32 in Chicago, as a local report says, a man accused of nearly beating another passenger to death aboard a train will not spend any time in prison. The 44-year-old suspect pleaded guilty to aggravated battery. He was sentenced to 2 years, but received credit for over a year spent on electronic monitoring.
Was he at home watching Judge Judy? Where was that degenerate scumbag? By the way, these are the judges. The 4 illegitimate years when the moron stole the election. These are the judges. Don't worry. The good people always knew what they were. Like Senator Kennedy. Expressing my own views, but Senator, I don't believe I've ever used those words. I've represented.
Did you when you sent out those personal tweets about Senator Cotton, Senator Blackburn, and Senator Cornyn, did you mean them at the time?
Without hearing those tweets, Senator Kennedy, it's hard for me to.
You know what I also hate? The cowardice. That's Judge Ho. Boy, I know when I say Ho, you right away think of Kamala Harris. Who doesn't? Pick another Ho. This is Judge Ho. Judge Ho's a Democrat scumbag. Now he's a judge.
Remember precisely,
Ho.
What was said or what I was thinking at the time. I do very much regret the tone that I've taken on social media from time to time. I know that I've...
Isn't this a nice tone, nice and civilized? You got your suit on, huh, Ho? You're just a $2 Ho. That's all you are. Low-rent Democrat. Let the criminals out.
Cross the line from time to time, and I...
When you cross the line, did you mean
it? Without knowing the specific context or the specific tweet that you're referring...
Here, let me help you. Let me help you, Ho, you coward. You rat pig coward. Democrat thieves and welfare roaches. You're good for nothing. I mean it. I absolutely mean it. Everybody's stealing the trillions of dollars in welfare, the trillions of dollars in grant money. All you suck-on politicians who represent these ghettos and then get caught like all the Hawaiian Democrats eventually, like Mike Madigan and Ed Burke and the thousands of Illinois politicians that go away. You're scum, and I mean it. And Rahm Emanuel, I'll kick your ass with the flu, and I mean that too. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Insurance came out about the roof. Offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560. The Answer.
He's got a plan, Squirrel. 5, but he can't hold his hand up because he chopped his finger up with the only job he ever had in his life, the useless suck-on.
I believe in growth. I think there are 5 pillars to it. 1 is turning a tax code away
4.5
from preservation of wealth to creation. 2, which is true about American history. We live in an age where you earn what you learn, making sure everybody has something post-high school. Everybody. 100% set it as a goal, and I've laid out a plan from pre-K.
He always talks like he's standing on a ledge, doesn't he? Like someone's going to shove him off a ledge. Listen, the meat slicer is for the meat, stupid, not your finger. Nicole Addison.
Hey, Shaun. So about 20 minutes ago, I was going to Aldi's, and I just needed some tomatoes. So I wanted to go there instead of Walmart. So I'm going in, and I see this man with the long white garb on, the sheets and the sandals, and he goes and gets a loaf of bread. There's a huge line. So I'm standing there, and I have one item, and I'm in back in line. He walks to the front, and he's on his phone, and he asks the lady, here, I just have this, I just have this. And she's like, no, sir, you have to walk to the back of the line. And he was, right. And we're
I
all
just
like,
have
what?
this. Give a frick. What you get to the back of the line before I beat the hell out of you. Nobody here slapped this son of a pig.
And then he paid with change. I go, I have one item, excuse me, that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
The lady goes, well, I just didn't feel like arguing. I mean, he was honest.
Hey, are you
what
ready
I'm
for
talking
this,
about.
Nicole? Are you Aloha Snack Bar. Are you ready for this, Nicole? Are you ready? The
What?
federal government spends $4.5 billion annually in just funding SNAP for Illinois. $4.5 billion with a B. And yet the stores close. You know why your store closed? Because of customers like that moron. That's why. Customers were too stupid to know civilization. Yeah. That's when you need me, Derek.
I couldn't believe
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
I know.
Somebody slap him in the head. Dave, Libertyville.
Hey, Shaun, how are you?
I'm good because I don't let anybody cut in front of me.
Hey.
I grab you right by the top of your hair. Throw you on the ground, you filthy son of a... Go ahead.
Yeah, that doesn't work with me either. Anyhow, I something doesn't add up to me. And you have to explain
No one said thered be math in Illinois.
Come on
Don't worry.
now.
It's not supposed to add
I
up.
didn't
Go
go
ahead.
to CPS.
Go ahead.
I did not go to CPS, but something doesn't add up.
All right.
Now, they're raising the tolls to save public transit in the city.
Yeah.
Yet, 90% of the people on some lines don't pay.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, that's the Edo factor.
Please,
you don't know about the Edo?
explain.
No, that's the Edo factor. The Edo factor in ghetto means that some scumbags don't have to follow any rules. They could be criminals and scumbags and thieves, and they got the run of the joint. It's the Ghetto Express.
WGN Investigates this afternoon. This week marks 3 months since sheriff's police started patrolling CT8 trains. They'll put together a long-term plan based on their findings. One of the big issues, 80 to 90% of riders on some lines fail to pay for rides.
Well, can we put that in a short-term plan? And you start making the low-life scumbags pay or arrest them. But then again, why would I mean, really, in defense of the coppers, what are you going to do? You're going to arrest them? What are you going to do? This other scumbag beat the guy half to death, or girl, or who knows. Right out on the street. He had his ankle bracelet on. How many did that judge say they lose? 20%, 30%. Who's going to do math? A Chicago public school student can't read.
Fox 32 in Chicago, as a local report says, a man accused of nearly beating another passenger to death aboard a train will not spend any time in prison. The 44-year-old suspect pleaded guilty to aggravated battery. He was sentenced to 2 years, but received credit for over a year spent on electronic monitoring.
Now, what good do you think out of the 44 years? How much time do you think that this low-rent, low-living ghetto snipe, what of the 44 years was he an asset to society? Can you pick one? One! Can you pick 1 year? Here's the ghetto, and here are the kids that society pays $33,000 a year to send to grade school. These are fourth graders.
We talking about shiesty though. We ain't playing. We play real good. We got thieves right here.
What y'all look? Why y'all out here like that though?
They flood down there. They ain't gonna come down here. They ain't gonna do
You know what, though? I can understand that kid a lot better than the CPS union teachers when they're asking for a raise. We'll be back.
Hi, guys. This is the Rocket Roger Clemens. You don't pitch in the majors for 24 years without feeling it later.
Shoulders, elbows, knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do.
That's baseball legend Roger Clemens.
I tried the ice. I tried rest, PT, nothing really worked. When I heard about QC Kinetics, the concept sounded promising. Non-surgical regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself without surgery. Sign me up, just what I needed, real lasting relief.
Whether you're a former pro, a weekend golfer, or just want to walk around pain-free again, QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge technology and natural biologics to help restore and repair damaged tissue.
I trusted them with my joints. Now I'm back doing what I love.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
Salem Surround. Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
My next guest will be at Shaun Fest live and in person, and he is going to be very recognizable. You know why, Squirrel? Handsome, like Vincent Price, overdressed. Probably have a vest on. E.J. Antoni, Dr. E.J. Antoni of the Heritage Foundation, will be at Shaun Fest to do what he does every time he comes on. Enlighten us as to the economic problems, swindles, and answers we're looking for. E.J. Antoni after 5.
He says they're getting help. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia is aiding Iran in its attacks on the U.S. and will present the evidence to President Trump.
Zelensky says he will share evidence with President Trump. Russia is providing Iran satellite imagery of U.S. bases in the Middle East, helping Iran target U.S. troops. Zelensky will be in Washington Tuesday to attend Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral. Ukraine says it struck an Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea that was carrying military cargo, highlighting the growing Russia-Iran partnership and eliciting anger from Iran's foreign minister. Quote, Zelensky has attacked an Iranian commercial vessel, killing a sailor, a blatant UN charter violation. What the freeloader in Kyiv did cannot go unanswered.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Zelensky is also expected to meet with senators tomorrow. Today he met with Britain's new prime minister about drone projects and missile defense. President Trump talking his economic message to a GM plant in Michigan.
There are more Americans working today in the United States of America than at any time in history.
With less than 100 days to the midterms, Fox News polling finds the cost of living is a top priority. A judge has found singer David must face trial in the killing of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 14-year-old girl who authorities say threatened to ruin his career by exposing their sexual relationship.
First-degree murder with the special circumstances of lying in wait, doing this crime for financial gain, and murdering a witness to an investigation.
Los Angeles County DA Nathan Hochman with the charges. He says prosecutors are still deciding whether to seek the death penalty. Seattle police now say there were at least 3 suspects involved in a shootout at a food festival near the Space Needle over the weekend, in which 3 died. One of the shooters is dead. Another, a 15-year-old, in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Traffic unpredictable at this time. We'll start with the Kennedy outbound trip. That is 45 minutes out to the airport. Watch out for scattered power lines and trees throughout your trip wherever you go as this rain is ongoing. Eisenhower, 55 minutes to get to 390 and northbound 55. Watch out for an accident at Route 53 in the left lane. Stevenson, the exit ramp still closed to California. It is an hour and 25 out to 355. Dan Ryan out 40 minutes. Flooding reported right near 95th. Solid on the Skyway. Going east, flooding on the Ford outbound at Cottage Grove. We have the exit ramp closed northbound Tri-State to westbound I-80 with an accident in westbound 80 still closed between the Tri-State and 57. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Croft University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and humid conditions with a low of 69. On Tuesday, expect breezy winds and lower humidity levels along with hazy sunshine and a high of 82. Tuesday night will feature a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will bring abundant sunshine and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Why does Progressive love protecting truckers? Because truckers unite the world. Truckers unite candles and yoga instructors. Truckers unite fake plants with people who shouldn't own living plants. Truckers unite French press coffee makers with the most pretentious person you know. But truckers can't do any of this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive now offers truckers even more protection on cargo with its enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
Hi, Dr. Huber here with Marty. Marty and I were at the Cigar Festival 2026, and we're here listening to Shaun Thompson Show. And Marty told me about he has a sinus problem that Virago seemed to help.
Probably for the past 15, 20 years, I would get a sinus infection every spring, every fall, and had to go in, get medication. Since the last 2 years, I've been taking Virago. I have not had any issues with the sinus. If I feel it coming on, I just up the dosage, and then I get the sweats one night, and then it's all gone. I feel great.
So you think Virago is a big reason for all this improvement?
Yeah, and I don't have to take any sinus medication, which I'm happy about because I don't know what's in half that stuff anyway.
Well, that's great, and thanks, Marty. We're glad to tell our Virago fans that we do help with your sinus problems. Thank you.
Try Virago today. Order your bottle online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. That's myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America. He's here to seize back our rights from the government with a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
Now, in getting ready for the show this weekend, waiting for my flight out of Shirakistan, I heard something I almost chuckled at. Of course, the whole thing is ridiculous and insulting. Sometimes you get angry, but every once in a while you get a good laugh out of it. You know, after all, the people who promote this ideology are really good for nothing. A socialist, a communist, a Marxist. I mean, what are you really good for? Absolutely nothing. There's a song like that, right, Squirrel? Can I play my clips? Can you hear it? I want you to hear the first time out of his mommy and daddy's house. His first big job, the mayor of New York City.
Here's how it will work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line.
Now, I don't know how you sustain a loss indefinitely. And then you look at Illinois, $4.5 billion with a B. The federal government picking up the tab for all the useless people who can't pay for their own food. My next guest is a doctor of economics, and he's dressed to prove it. Not only is he wearing a vest right now with a lapel, but when he goes to bed tonight, it will be matching satin pajamas. Handsome, debonair, and wicked smart, E.J. Antoni of the Heritage Foundation. How are you, kid?
Shaun, it's great to be back with you.
Yes, you too. Can you explain to me how you can price fix fluctuating commodity or good, no matter what the reality of the world is in pricing at a grocery store, and why that will work, but yet in Chicago, a grocery store chain with over 50, arguably 70% of its sales, all food subsidies, SNAP, just closed 7 stores in Chicago. Why will the government cheese one work? Can you explain it to me?
Well, Shaun, look at it this way. You're talking about shaving 30% off the price at an establishment that has a 2% profit margin. Gee, how's that going to work? Oh, that's right, it won't. This just means the taxpayer is going to foot the bill, pure and simple. This is basic math, and I understand that might be a little hard for some of these Democrats here, but at the end of the day, that's all it is. You're going to not only get rid of all of the profit margin, but you are going to have to sell all that stuff at a loss. There is no other way around it. Again, that's just the basic math. That's what the numbers tell us. So this means that all of these quote-unquote government grocery stores are really taxpayer grocery stores. At least that's who's paying for it. And that's what's important here at the end of the day. That's what New Yorkers, and not just New Yorkers, but people around the country need to realize. When we talk about, oh, we're just going to sell stuff for less, we'll just make stuff more affordable, as if you can do any of this by executive fiat. No, you can't.
But you could provide the good if you approached it from the right position. You know, this is the other side of the coin that really doesn't get the attention it should. So far, we've tried to pretend you can give people money and they will pay for their own items. They will do what the intention of the program is meant for. So we pretend that we can give credit cards to people who can't afford their rent or their food or their insurance. And we pretend that money is not being misappropriated, stolen, or those cards aren't being sold at 30, 40% on the dollar, which is the vast majority of it. When I talk to you about this Save-A-Lot, there is no explanation why $4.5 billion can come into Illinois and somehow grocery stores close. And the reason is we never approached it from the right angle. So now we're going to approach it from the government can own the grocery store and it'll work. We can approach it from we're going to give you money and you'll use it for groceries and it'll work. When the answer has always been, as it always should be, the provider is the only one that can ever fill this kind of need and answer this kind of problem. If grocery stores, all grocery stores that were in existence, that are opening in good neighborhoods, that are thriving in the real world, if they simply were able to give said food to people who needed it and take the deduction, not only would that work, stores would be opening. they would be closing. This wouldn't be liability of the people. You wouldn't have government ghettonomics and the fraud of the give me that grocery store, as it's going to be called in Chicago. So this is a real issue where we even have the answer if you can't pay for your food. In the same way, if you can't pay for your rent, why not let the landlord deduct it on his own profit margin? Let the provider, producer, the American, keep his money as he is forced to give away his goods. Isn't that the real answer?
It is, Shaun, but here's part of the problem with that. We used to have a lot more charity in this country in terms of businesses giving away food, for example. It was very, very common, especially among fast food establishments, where they were constantly giving away food to the homeless. But then what happened? You had a handful of people who allegedly got sick from eating the food, sued those establishments. They lost a ton of money. And then little by little, everybody started saying, you know what? The charity's not worth it. You know what? I don't want to take that risk. I'd love to help people out, but I can't afford to maybe lose my business because I tried to be nice to some folks. So, but, again, you're absolutely right. The answer is private markets. The answer is private charity. The answer is private action. But again, I think it's worth pointing out, we would have even more were it not for this crazy litigious culture that we have.
Mine is not even giving it away. I'm not advocating for that. I never would. Mine is allowing the grocery store itself, the chain, the individual operator, whoever it is. If you're going to take my stuff, I don't want your money because that's the way you can taint the money pool. Just let me deduct it from what I owe the government, the state, the county in the form of taxes. Notice how the fear among the government supremacists is always to allow the individual to keep their own money. And that's the beauty of what Trump has already delivered. I was fascinated by the testimony of Scott Bessent when he talked about who already is taking advantage of the Trump tax cuts. I want to play this for you. This is a politician by the name of Smith.
Many taxpayers claimed at least one of President Trump's priorities of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, or the auto loan interest.
Approximately 62 million filers, or about 44%, Mr. Chairman.
And so what percent of tax filers who received a tax cut in filing season earned less than $100,000?
Just over 70%, sir.
70%?
70.
So what percent of waiters and other tipped workers who received a tax cut, thanks to the no tax on tips, earned less than $100,000?
90%.
90?
Our philosophy, our ideology, actually provides for the poor far greater than socialism does, which delivers to you a store in a ghetto with empty shelves, run by government morons who could care less whether the food is fresh or the meat is fresh or anything is even there. So, there's no argument, and there really never has been. Why are so few people afraid to make it?
Ooh, Shaun, that's a good question. Well, I think part of it comes down to the fact that, if you have a kind of society that really genuinely values private ownership, private enterprise, property rights, then that's one thing. But when you have a culture that is based really on envy, I think, which is where you get socialism from, right? Margaret Thatcher, I think it was, used to say it's the gospel of envy. In that kind of environment, I think it turns the entire situation on its head. And now people don't see economics as a way that I can benefit and you can benefit simultaneously, but instead they see everything as a zero-sum game. And I think when that really, really taints your vision, when that's the lens through which you see the world, I think not only are you going to come to obviously the wrong conclusion, but I think that's also how you get the kind of mess we have today and all of these false perceptions where because people don't actually see the world as it is, they don't actually see how the world operates, therefore they turn around and they come up with all the wrong solutions for how to fix things. Sometimes they're trying to come up with a solution to fix something that's not even broken.
Well, one of the things that's amazing is when you look at the idea that we have entire regions, cities, counties, states that are represented by what they call our American Democrats. Yet when we have the incredible scandal of the most of these entitlements, whether it's the $2.5 trillion for welfare in general, including Medicare, or the $1.1 trillion in education, or this new scam, $1.3 trillion in grants, over 70% is untraceable. And at the hearing for fraud that was put on the Capitol Hill, put forward in the Capitol Hill, not one Democrat showed up, which you have to come to the only reasonable conclusion. It's because those are the areas that are receiving the fraud. Those policies and those government officials and the judges and the constituents know that they're stealing the money, and they are going to continue to steal the money. The problem with the whole argument is that we talk in the false virtue of the platitude of the argument itself, when the specificity of the theft is working out exactly as Democrats have told their thieving constituents it was going to work out. And at this point, you've caught so many tens of millions of Americans in on it. They like it this way. And that's what socialism is. If you want to live in the ghetto of New York, New Jersey, Philly, Chicago, LA, congratulations, you're a Democrat forever. How do we stop paying for it at least?
Well, Shaun, first off, I mean, if you were implicated in a hearing, you probably wouldn't go either, right? In fairness to those Democrats.
Oh, I'm going. I'm going. And I'm bringing cigars with me. I love a good argument. Are you nuts?
Well, look, the way you fix this at the end of the day, first and foremost, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Okay, this is why Doge, I think, was so valuable. It's the fact that people are not going to be outraged regarding something that they don't know anything about, right? If the people don't know what's going on, they can't possibly be upset about the fraud, about the money that's being spent in their name on all kinds of things that they don't actually want to name that money spent on. So you have to make people aware. Once people actually are aware, once we find out about what's going on, again, for example, with Doge, where they uncovered all of these dead people getting Social Security money, it's something that we kind of all knew was going on, right? Everybody knows that's kind of like an old story. People know, yes, there's fraud in Social Security. There are dead people who get checks. But the fact that Doge was able to find literally so many simply by having one database talk to another, I mean, that was just absolutely extraordinary. And it once again got people upset. It once again got people outraged. And it is going to take public outrage to put political pressure on the politicians to actually make any kinds of changes. That's the only way any of this, I firmly believe, that's the only way any of this is actually going to change. People need to know what's going on. People need to know about all of the fraud, the corruption, the abuse, the waste, all of the ways that their taxpayer money is not only taken from them, but then spent so terribly egregiously.
Do you know what's fascinating is when you break apart these numbers, you know, the other thing too is, right, we the decent, we the ones that make the world go around, sometimes we don't understand the magnitude of exactly the kind of money that's funneled into these most obvious failed areas, these Democrat-run hellholes. What's amazing is this, and I can't get over this grant program, this federal grant program, which skyrockets in 2021 to $1.3 trillion, then pulls back to $1.1 trillion. Now it's up again around $1.3 trillion, and 70% of it is stolen. When you look at the breakdown of where this money is stolen, it's like states like my very own in Illinois, my old one. And it's $35 to $38 trillion, or billion dollars, billion dollars in just grant money into Illinois. When you take the welfare money, I told you about food stamps, right? $4.5 billion. When you add up all of it, the Medicaid, all of the stuff that the federal government picks up that becomes our debt, that's another $36 billion. So you have over $70 billion of federal cheese money that just flows into a state that can't run. It's bankrupt. They lie and they count loans as revenue. Did you know they do that? If you get a loan, you can count it as revenue. That's how they use this math trick to pretend this slob of a governor, J.B. Pritzker, balances budget. He's just getting more debt, more loans. So when you look at the kind of money, $70 billion, that's $70,000 million. And we don't know if it's like the grant money where 70% of it is stolen. We still can't crack the books open to these real mobbed areas like Illinois to know how much of the welfare money is stolen. So they've got a system that why would you change it if, in fact, you are one of these corrupt, profiting from theft areas? What's the incentive to change it?
Well, none. Again, until people actually are aware of what's going on, until people in places like Illinois are going to vote out so many of the bums that are perpetrating this fraud, then no, it doesn't change. It only continues to snowball and to get worse. And to your point, Shaun, on all the crazy accounting tricks that we see with this kind of stuff, if you have all of these government transfers, things like food stamps, but it's not just food stamps. It could be things like rental assistance. The list goes on, right? All of these different government transfers where the government steals from you and then they give to somebody who's not working, and that person goes out and spends it. Again, they could spend it on groceries. They could spend it on a car. They could spend it on rent. They could spend it on cell phones, like you name it. Again, the list goes on and on. My point is that all of that spending then gets counted as what we call personal consumption expenditures, which is a fancy way of what we usually call consumer spending. In other words, it doesn't actually get counted as government spending. And so when you see these different analyses being done, where they talk about red states versus blue states, and that the blue states are providing, most of the tax revenue, and they're providing most of the economic activity, and the red states are the leeches. No. That's only because you are counting all of this government activity, all of these government transfers as private sector activity, as private spending. But the reality is, Shaun, once you account for all of that, it's very, very clear the red states are the makers, the blue states are the takers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the food SNAP benefits, as it's called, $101.7 billion a year. I mean, you look at the kind of money we're talking about. We're talking huge money. I have listeners. A girl just called me. She's going to go to Aldi. She's going to go to Walmart. We, the decent, are forced to buffer the cost, not just in the grocery product itself, but in the taxation and the obligation to debt that's created in order to buy somebody else dinner. This whole thing about socialism, who exactly gets the money, we have no say in it. No say in it. And these areas are incentivized to do exactly what they do. Misuse, abuse the policies, misuse and abuse the citizens who turn to it as they're so-called in need, and they become your foot soldier to make the argument to protect that corruption. That's the other part of the problem. They are the foot soldier of the Democrat. And at a certain point, when you're struggling financially, do you care if the politician is stealing money or you just want something for nothing? It's the perfect way to overthrow a government. It's not just Cloward and Piven. That's about overwhelming the system in order to take it over. They already did that. Barack Obama did that. Now what you've done is you've built this constituent of the true face of greed, the recipient of the corruption, the recipient of the benefits. These are the foot soldiers. These are the ones that don't care in Maine. They'll elect a pickle jar. They don't give a rip what it is. In Seattle, they'll do the same thing. And you know what's funny to me? When you look at the money that the municipalities make. I have a guy in L.A., a fireman, makes $1 million a year. $1 million a year. The vast majority of it overtime, which he doesn't pay taxes on. You've got in Seattle, Washington, that dog without an upper lip that they call a mayor. She just gave herself a 30% raise. It's almost out of the closet in Illinois or in Chicago. Brandon Johnson hired 9,000 people. 9,000 people. And they all have these ghost jobs. So they've built an army when all we are the ones that get stuck with it. And that's the real description of why there's an influx. There are people out there that say, I'm done paying my abuser. I'm done paying the guy who's going to beat my wife up if she has to take the train. I'm done. And we're leaving out. So there is a movement afoot. I'm just wondering if you are hearing any rumblings in Washington that they understand the vast majority of this money in these Democrat areas, it's not going for anything other than the pockets, to line the pockets of the politician and policymaker of the program. That's who's stealing our money. Do they know about it? Are you hearing a rumbling? I want to unleash Blanche, arrest everybody. What do you think?
Honestly, Shaun, there is a surprising number of people who do understand it. Here's the problem. Most of them are on the wrong side. In other words, most of them are the ones helping to perpetuate the whole system. Most of the people who really understand what's going on, they're the ones who initiated the whole spoil system and again, are keeping it going. But those who understand what it is and those who are not on the take, but are in states like Florida or like Tennessee or like Texas, they're frankly the ones who are trying to help keep their own states, not only just safe havens for people who want to get the heck out of Illinois or California or places like that, but they're also trying to very admirably do that on the national level. In other words, they are fighting Leviathan. Yes, it's an uphill battle, but we're working on it.
You know what else is fascinating to watch them? Watch the race card get thrown around. Watch all of this nonsense. And I say this to you, coming to you from a position of before Barack Obama, which is how I believe time will be kept in the future. It will be before BO and after BO. And when you look at what he has successfully managed to do, it isn't just add $30 trillion to the national debt, of which the vast majority cannot be traced. It's the divide of race in America. And I wonder how many people know. Do you know who Mike Ilyich is? You know that name from the founder of Little Caesars Pizza? Do you know who he is? He's a guy out of Detroit. He's an interesting guy. He founded Little Caesars Pizza. And he's white and Jewish. And Rosa Parks, you remember the one that they always throw in the face, the back of the bus and all of that, Rosa Parks? She was beaten in a ghetto neighborhood in 1994 by black guys. She was beaten, left for dead, and robbed. Mike Ilyich heard the story. He took her and put her in a neighborhood not far from him and paid her rent till the time she died. A Jew, a white Jew, self-made capitalist, took care of a black civil rights worker, and not one moron Democrat out there who wants to tear apart America in the name of race has any idea. None of them have an idea of what really benefits the ordinary man, no matter what the color of his skin is. The capitalist, the American, not the program. Because these programs deliver the areas and the ghettos in which Rosa Parks was beaten, regardless of what she stood up for or what she did. Why is it so many or so few people are willing to make the argument on the principle of just simply right and wrong? I stumped you.
Well, Shaun, again, at the end of the day, I think so much of the way people view the world today, it's very egocentric, right? It's not about responsibilities. It's just about rights, not in the sense of the rights endowed by our Creator, but more so in the sense of I can just do whatever the heck I want. That's how people think of rights today, sadly. Yeah. And they don't see it as, when they see their fellow man, they don't see responsibility. They don't see, like the founder of Little Caesars that you were just talking about, a responsibility to help someone else in need, which obviously he did and was so incredibly admirable of him. I think a lot of our problems, yes, they're economic in the sense that that's the issue right now. Like our taxes being too high, that's an economic problem. But how we got there, I think, is probably fundamentally much more cultural. So it's not just a matter of we're fighting to change economic policy. We're fighting to change hearts and minds and win a culture war here.
Yeah, as we're being overthrown by the scum in our society. You know, I think Jesse Jackson was really close to making Rosa Parks rent payments and moving her out of the neighborhood, but he had to catch up on alimony from a white waitress he knocked up in California and abandoned. Do you have your ticket ready for Shaun Fest?
Oh, it's already booked, Shaun.
All right, you need me to pick you up from the airport? I'll pick you up. You have to put up with some cigar smoke, but I'll pick you up.
I love it.
All right, I'll see you later in the next month. Thanks, brother, for always making time. You know I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure, Shaun.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
Honey, I can't deal with this kitchen anymore. It's cramped and everything is outdated.
I know, but it makes no sense to move. I could call my contractor buddy Chad.
Babe, you've seen Chad's house, right?
Yeah, good point.
Plus, he showed up late for his own wedding. Let's get someone who's reliable.
How about Forever Remodeling? They have a team of interior designers, master installers, and project managers all under one roof.
Their reviews on Google look amazing, and homeowners post a ton of pictures of their work.
It looks like they even offer 3D rendering of their projects.
Just like my TV design shows.
Exactly.
Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free in-home design consultation.
From kitchens to bathrooms, basements to whole homes, the design build team at Forever Remodeling takes the stress out of remodeling. They're done on time and guaranteed to match your vision. Visit them online at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Fight or flight? In Illinois, you've got both options. You can stay and fight, engage in local races, work to change things. Or you can vote with your feet. At leavingil.com, we help you build a smart exit plan so you know where to go, when to go, and how to do it right. Take our quick exit readiness assessment. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
I've got the suits are very narrow. I would never, come on. So I want to ask Tom Fortino what he thinks of the price of silver. That's nothing wrong with that. I was having a conversation with Tom Fortino. I don't know, Score, what has it got to be, a year and a half, 2 years ago? We were at Greek Islands. Because Tom Fortino, Greek handsome son of a gun like Onassis, all dolled up. He should have been a movie star. You could see him on TV from now and again. But he's wicked smart when it comes to the principles of economics. We were talking about silver. It was $27. I said, man, I don't know. I like it. I'm not totally sure. He said it's a buy. Skyrockets to $74. Gold. I think right now it's a buy. Everybody say it's 4,000. Well, it might be a good indicator. I also think you should short oil. But this is me speculating when we talk about my risk tolerance. You can have the same conversation by calling 630-864-6711. See, that's what Tom Fortino does. First thing I'll tell you is past results are no guarantee of future returns. That by law, you have to say, unless, of course, you're cutting a deal with a gangster municipality. Then don't worry about it. That's not a pension. It's not a return on investment. But if you need a return on investment, Alpha Wealth Group for 30 years has been delivering just that. Fit custom to your risk tolerance. Not everybody wants to risk everything. Not everybody wants to buy calls, sell puts. Not everybody's a gambler. Tom will know that, and so will everybody at Alpha Wealth Group. Just call 630-864-6711 for a no-obligation consultation. Online at alphawealthgroup.com, where he knows the minute you call, you've got two major goals. You want to avoid the potholes of corruptonomics, government-sponsored industries like global warming and the rest of it. And you want to make certain your kids get the money at the time of your demise, which nobody gets out alive. And if you die in a Democrat area, they're all broke, and they're looking to steal the decent people's money. So call 630-864-6711 to avoid that. Online at Alpha Wealth Group. And if you didn't listen last Saturday at 9 a.m. to the Alpha Wealth Group Hour right here on AM 560, make sure you listen next Saturday. Where every weekend you can hear an hour of fundamental principles, economics, market talk for free. When we get back, Verlon, Greg, that'll be the order that we start 1-2. 312-642-5600 if you care to join after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, a humid overnight, a chance of a strong thunderstorm, and a low near 69. Authorities in Seattle are searching for a second suspect after a shooting near the Space Needle left 3 dead last night, 4 others injured. President Trump touted his administration's economic policies at a GM facility in Milford, Michigan today, but he's also focusing on the upcoming primary races in that state. Fox's Mike Tobin.
There's a hotly contested race for the GOP nomination for the gubernatorial candidate. The president has given his endorsement already to U.S. Representative John James, a Republican. However, his Republican opponent, businessman Perry Johnson, has spent millions on the race, even hosting a Trump tailgate today here in Oakland County, Michigan.
Cubs visit the Cardinals tonight. White Sox host the Yankees. The news, a service of Staples. It's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy. Next news at 7. News, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the evening roads with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Eden, you're okay. The Kennedy out to O'Hare from the Jane Byrne interchange, 38 minutes. Outbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes to 390. Inbound has an accident reported at Pulaski. Heavy northbound 55 at Route 53 from an earlier accident. The outbound side of the Stevenson, that checks in at an hour and 30 minutes. Exit ramp still closed to California. Outbound Dan Ryan, a 45-minute trip. Flooding outbound Ford right near Cottage Grove. Also, the exit ramp northbound Tri-State to westbound 80 closed. And we have it closed as well, westbound I-80 right near between the Tri-State and I-57. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low of 69. On Tuesday, it'll be breezy with reduced humidity and hazy sunshine, reaching a high of 82. Tuesday night will bring a crystal clear sky and a low of 64. Wednesday will be sunny with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
For a lot of workplaces, the work week doesn't end on Friday. That's why there's EasyCater, the best way to order food from favorite restaurants for your hardworking team, even on weekends. With EasyCater, you'll find great options for any group size and any shift, with tools to help meet dietary needs, stay on budget, and simplify expenses, all backed by our award-winning 24/7 support. EasyCater, your Monday through Sunday workplace food platform. Start an order for your weekend crew at easycater.com.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Here it comes.
Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old phonographs or music boxes? We are the experts. Consign yours. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
By the way, I was wrong. Ilyich is Greek. Little correction from one of the suits. Verlon, Michigana.
This is the same conversation I tried to call in about Thursday that I was upset and up in arms about. Because you had said, instead of this food stamp stuff, reimburse Jules, and I disagree. We already pay for housing, we already pay for people medical, and we got to feed you forever too. You used another phrase, prove up. Well, I agree with that phrase. Prove you can't feed yourself. I want E-Verify for every citizen that signs up for welfare. I want to see what you bring in. I want to see what you make, what you bring in, what you pay for rent, what you pay for medical, what you pay for your bills, and I want to see if you can feed yourself, because you know I'm one of your only friends that hate the whole welfare system. No, because this is where the scam comes in at, with feeding these kids at the school, the lunch program, and everything else. This is where the waste is. One of the biggest, where the biggest fraud is right now.
$101 billion a year. But you do understand something. First of all, it's Jewel, not Jules, Amy. Secondly, the vast majority of the money as it's handed out to make a legitimate appearance of a credit card, I believe, me personally, from what I've lived through and what everybody sees with their open eyes, what's the percentage of it that's sold for pennies on the dollar of the welfare? How many people get arrested in Detroit, in Illinois, New York, New Jersey, for paying 30 cents on the dollar and then cashing it in for an arbitrage of charity, arbitrage of an entitlement? When you, in fact, allow the producer to keep the money, not only is that more beneficial and less government cheese in our economy, however, it incentivizes them to be honest because you can shut it off instantaneously. You realize that, right? So if Jewel was caught...
Yeah.
If Jewel was caught buying food stamps and arbitraging it the way so many people just pretend it doesn't happen, then Jewel would lose the entire contract. You have this scandal. This is a scandal, by the way, about this yellow banana Save-A-Lot bulldog. Over 50% up to 70% of all of its revenue came from food stamps, yet all the stores closed. Does that make sense? How's that possible? Because if you're selling that, I know some guys in the grocery business. Now, granted, they're smart. They did very well in the grocery store. Why is it Save-A-Lot can't do well? Why? What conclusion could you come to if you were Sherlock? Because they were never providing the food in the first place. That's why. Because they were never providing the food in the first place. And now any change to that system of fraud, and it throws their entire model of arbitrage off, right? So if they had a work requirement, which is what you're saying, that's what Trump did. Trump added a work requirement. You got to work 80 hours a month, which is 20 hours a week, if you're able-bodied and you can tie your own fracking shoes. And that's throwing the whole world up in order? Why? Because the vast majority of that entitlement, like Medicare and Medicaid and the rest, is being stolen. It's being frauded. So you have to always incentivize, like the same thing with doctors. Like these doctors are going to go to jail. They'll do real time. If the doctor cheats Medicare, put them away for life. You can't do that to the constituents because they're nameless. You have illegal aliens all over the place. You have people who are heroin addicts that are selling it for pennies on the dollar. You cannot give these people their own money. They've proved economic illiteracy. To your point, you can't. What am I going to make you feel like an adult? You can't be one. So it's same thing with the landlord, and it proves itself. You can have charity. Let the provider discount out of what he owes the government. And you break the back of the taxing extortionist. That's all you do it, babe. Simple. Greg and LaGrange.
Hey, I don't know which way to go. I don't know whether I should defend Verlon's point, which I agree with. I think he was making a different point, or go my way.
Right.
I think I'll go my
stick
way
with your own way. I don't know if you've ever been around Verlon, but to argue on his point, you're going to lose. So stick with your way.
Here's my problem. And here's my problem with the administration. And here's where the problem starts right at the top. It's wonderful. You have this big, beautiful bill. You're helping people with wages and tips, and that's fantastic. But I'll tell you what. This administration has done one of the most horrendous jobs in explaining and trying to reduce costs for all the citizens of this country, all the citizens of the country.
You're seeing this through
message. They cannot message. I'm sorry, but when you're, I can understand why you're taking a certain action overseas, but it has to be explained properly. And when it's being done in 180-degree opposite of now, you're driving up gas costs, you're driving up diesel costs, you're driving up food costs. You're taking what you give people with the bill and basically offsetting it by poor messaging and poor procedure in trying to adjust the core problem.
Hey, listen, if you're talking about the overall synopsis of the economy given by the administration, they're talking to the country. And where your point is right, they're making a mistake because Greg and LaGrange only sees this through Cook County, Illinois eyes, right? And it's hard for a president to say because I don't think you're right. They should do this. For instance, in Cook County, just on sales tax, Cook County, the thieving rat bankrupt hellhole, adds 1.75% onto sales tax. So Illinois is 6.5 or 6.25. But if you buy that same item in Illinois, you're going to pay 8% on sales tax. And by the way, that includes on gas. Now, as the item goes up, the percentage tax goes up. So the item you buy in Crooked County is nothing for me in Collier. It's a tremendous difference. So when he's talking to me, and he's talking to my neighbor, and he's talking to Greg, what he really should say, to your point, is if you're dumb enough to elect Democrats who are adding taxes on taxes and they're percentage-based, incentivized by government to drive up the cost because then they make more money, well, then shame on you. He doesn't do that. Maybe he should. You might be right. In fact, the whole motto of all Republicans and anybody who's not a thief or a moron should be from this point forward, if you, unfortunately, can't get out of a Democrat area or are dumb enough not to know why, well, then your costs are going to be extremely expensive on everything that enters your hand, your house, or your mouth.
I've never seen an administration that has the perfect prima facie example of the past administration of those complete anti-American group of people that ran the country 4 years prior to Donald Trump this time. See what they suffered through high inflation and high costs, and refuse to address it in total across the country. It's a problem. I think you're right. Don't get me wrong. And you're the one that taught me this. You're the one that taught me this on a Sunday night. When you buy a place or when you're living in a place, you're always at the disposal and you're always at the knee. You're always on the knee to the local fiefdom, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said, not in so many words, but that's what you taught me. I realize I'm getting it twice as hard in Illinois, and I'm working to get out of it. All I'm saying is that this administration should be doing a better job, a tighter message.
They got me 4 to 7 every day during the week. This is what I'm doing. This is why you listen. This is what it is. Listen, it's a really simple message. I almost start every show, and I try to end every show. If you want to live low, if you want to live where things are high and the quality of life is low, then you're a Democrat. If you don't, you are not. It's that breakdown. It's that. Here, listen. This is a great clip. Listen.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know. It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot of lines on your property.
Now, the beauty of this is so multifaceted. First of all, he's a billionaire who was caught lying, cheating, and stealing on property taxes. Caught. His whole family up to Grandpa Abe. What do? Offshore trust funds. He don't want to pay any fracking taxes. Yet since he's been in, he's raised 57 to 71 taxes and $77 billion to just pay interest. And he says he balances a budget by taking loans. That's ghettonomics. It doesn't even matter if you're a billionaire. If you're a Democrat, you develop ghettos and then the people live in them. Simple, Greg.
Here's one last thing, if I can get it in.
Shoot.
We lived in a great environment where interest rates were always going down. You could always refinance over and over and over again, and you never really paid a penalty because the rate was going down. Now we're in the opposite direction, and it's a bad cycle because interest rates are going to be going up over and over and over again. And it's not going to be easy to dig yourself out of debt.
Do me a favor. Ask me a question. I want you to ask me a question. Now, you know my business, right? Real estate business.
Yeah.
Ask me how many times in my life I refinanced.
How many times have you refinanced in your life?
One time. Because the goal when you get an amortized loan is to amortize the principal. And all you must do is make it one extra payment a year to cut it into a little more than a third. 2 extra payments, you cut it into a third. You know how many people take mortgages and have no idea what it is? That's individual ignorance. This is the thing, Greg. Life, you either live it or you survive it. That's the choice. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Insurance came out about the roof, offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
AM 560, The Answer.
The youngest country, the highest quality of life, the richest. How? The only one built on the individual. Yet for decades, you've been sold blanket answers. Oh, there's a blanket answer for life? There is no blanket answer. It's an interesting thing. I love Greg's calls. I love them all. But, you know, it's a very interesting thing because you could hear the anguish of a decent person reminds me of everybody I know, all my friends, my whole relative, everybody. It is so specific to the choices you make. You make 30,000 choices a day. Every day, the average American makes 30,000 choices. Sadly, sometimes you don't make choices, and that's hard. And we've got this system that we call a democracy. It's supposed to be a republic. But when there are more crooks that are acting as representation, when there are more crooks in charge of the quality of life you don't have, then you have to understand the difference.
I didn't raise property taxes, as you know. It's local governments that do that, and there are a lot.
Now, a good place to live.
So far to date, after reviewing 13 local governments, the amount of excessive and wasteful spending that we have found across those 13 governments is $1.97 billion. This is money that government should have never had in the first place, should have never spent in the second place, and most importantly, you guys should have never funded. This money belongs in the pockets and the bank accounts and the purses of the taxpayers, not in the hands of a government bureaucrat and politicians who think you are a piggy bank.
Now, the difference is, my state is cutting property tax. By the way, out of those 13 governments, all but one have one common denominator. Can you guess what it is?
A lot of lines on your property tax bill.
The 12 are run by Democrats that were misappropriating and stealing the money. It's a simple problem. You live among thieves and you're not one, you're going to get robbed. We'll be back.
Several Save-A-Lot stores on the city's south and
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's